Swajnanam prapakajnanam prapyajnanam mumukshubhihi Jnanatrayam upadeyam etadanyat nakinchana. This shloka talks about the three vital jnana that is required for a jiva. Jnana is the main characteristic that differentiates us from all the inanimate, insentient objects. Although we are all blessed with knowledge, the question is whether we have the right requisite knowledge that would help us progress spiritually. We might have many degrees and graduates to our credit. But more than all of them, we require some fundamental knowledge about these three tattvas. Any discipline has a system. Science has a system. Mathematics has its own system. Similarly, there is a system laid down by Sanatana Dharma. According to that system, let us share a few thoughts about the importance of human birth. Today, our topic is why human birth is so important. I'll give a little short introduction about what is birth and how have we construed about birth. Then on we will carry on with the importance of human birth. As I told you, Sanatana Dharma has an ongoing system. The system agrees three tattvas: Chit, Achit and Ishvara. Achit is the insentient, Chit the sentient. They are also named as Achetana and Chetana. Chaitanyam is knowledge. One who has knowledge is a Chetana. All those which do not have knowledge, they are Achetanas. The verse from Upanishads that confirm the existence of these three tattvas is Ksharam Pradhanam, Amrutaksharam Haraha, Ksharatmana, Ishate Deva Ekaha. Ksharam Pradhanam, the most conspicuous, perceivable tattva is Achetana. It's abundantly available in this universe. It's visible. It can be touched. It can be heard. It can be smelt. It can be tasted. So all these tattvas that are perceivable with our sensual organs, they are Achetana. Ksharam Pradhanam. They are called as Kshara as they really diminish day by day. They change day by day. Amrutaksharam Haraha. The second tattva, better than Achetana, is Chetana. Chetana, the Jivatma, is called as Akshara. Kshara, Achetana. Akshara, Jivatma. The reason being, Akshara, one who never changes, one who never mitigates, one who never reduces. There's no change in him. Ksharam Pradhanam, Amrutaksharam Haraha. You have many number of Achetana Tattva. The categories are innumerable within Achetana. Similarly, There are three categories within Chetana too. Let's not deal with them now. For now, just know that Achetana the insentient and Chetana the sentient. Ksharam pradhanam amritaksharam haraha ksharatmana ishate deva yekaha. These two are controlled by Ishvara. Ishvara, the controller, has as his possession Achetana and Chetana. Let me also quote one other verse. It says, Bhokta Bhogyam Preritarancha Matva. Bhokta, the enjoyer. Bhogyam, the object of enjoyment. Prerita, one who controls. Let this Bhokta, the enjoyer, enjoy this object as of now. So someone, a third person, controls these two. So from these two Upanishadic verses, we accept the existence of three real tattvas, Achetana, Chetana and Ishvara. How are they related? Ishvara is well established by all the Shastras, by Upanishads, Veda, Itihasa, Purana. Now how do they talk about these two? If I possess something, I have this microphone, but we both have a distance. I am not this microphone, neither this microphone is me. I possess. I paid for it. I got it. I hold it. It may get repaired. Then I take a different microphone. Now, is it the same case? When I say Ishvara and Chetana, Achetana are related, what is the mode of relationship? How are they related? They are related as Sharira, Atma, Bhava. Shariratma relationship is talked heavily by many Upanishads. The portion called Antaryami Brahmana in Upanishads, they talk like this. Yasya Atma Shariram Yam Atma na Veda Yasya Prithivi Shariram Yam Prithivi na Veda. All the objects, Chetana and Achetana, are like body and parts of Paramatma. Like I have my hands, legs and eyes, Paramatma too has. And you may be his leg, he may be his hand. So we are all parts, minuscule parts of Paramatma. You can call them as Amsha. Amshi is Paramatma, Amsha is Jivatma and Achetana. You can also call us Sharira Atma Bhava. Everything other than Paramatma is body to him. He is the soul. As we enjoy an intimate relationship between this body and this soul, Bhagavan enjoys, Ishvara enjoys the same relationship with all possible. Not only with one body, but with everyone possible. Nammalvar, in his Tiruvayamozhi says, Udan Mishai Uyirena, Karandu Yengum Parandudan. Udal Mishai Uyirena, Udal body. Udal Mishai Uyirena. As this body resides in, as this Jiva resides in this body, so does Paramatma, he resides everywhere. But Jivatma is atomic in size. You can call him as an atom, atomic in size, or Sukshma. The word Sukshma would mean subtle. The word Sthula would mean gross. I can also put it in this way. If something is Sukshma, then it is not perceivable to human eyes. It's known as Sukshma. I am unable to see Vayu here. I am unable to see Akasham here. Neither ether nor air, I am unable to see both. What does it mean? Are they elements or not? They are elements, but I am unable to perceive them with my naked eyes. Bhagavan is also Sukshma. Ishvara is a Sukshma Tattva. Jivatma is also a Sukshma Sattva. I cannot see, I cannot touch, or I cannot even see through a microscope. But there is a difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Although both are Sukshma, Jivatma's size is so small, it's so atomic in size. But is the size of Ishvara through atomic? It is not. Ishvara is known to be a Vibhu. Vibhu is omnipresence. He is present everywhere. He is present throughout this mandapa, this hall, but unfortunately, or rather I could say, that's his prowess. His power is, I am unable to see him with my eyes. You are here, you are 6 foot tall. I am able to see you. Someone is only 4 feet tall. I am able to see him. But Paramatma, who is almost 100 feet or 200 or throughout this hall, I am unable to see him. So, he enjoys a dual status. One status is being Sukshma, not perceivable to eyes. The other great status is being Vibhu, being present everywhere. So he is omnipresent as well as not seeable. I cannot have a vision of Paramatma. I can't see him. But I can't see him. He is found everywhere, but I am unable to see him. This is the glory of Paramatma. Similarly, when you get to Jivatma, he is Sukshma, I can't see him, but he is not present everywhere. He is not omnipresent. Jivatma can be present only in a tiny spot, in an atomic spot. But Paramatma is present everywhere. If you want me to give an example of how something could be Sukshma as well as Vibhu, I'll give you an example. Just drench a towel in a bucket of water. Take it out. Show that towel. You can't see water, but water is there everywhere in the towel. Can you see water? You cannot see water. But is water there spread everywhere or not? In that towel, water is found everywhere, but I can't see water. Similarly, Bhagavan is found everywhere, but I cannot see Bhagavan. Ishvara Tattva is the Atman, Atman for all Jivatma. As this Jiva, as me, as I enjoy a great relationship with this body, Ishvara enjoys the same type of relationship with every Atma and every Achetana Tattva. So Chetana and Achetana are in a symbiotic union with Paramatma. They are inseparable with Paramatma. They are so intimate to him, but this Antaryami Brahmana says, unfortunately, even after being so intimately related to Paramatma, this Sharira Jivatma has not realized that he is a Sharira of Paramatma. He should know. He will not know, because will this body realize that he is my body? This is my body. I know that this is my body. But this body does not realize that this belongs to me. Has it ever said that I belong to this Swami, so I should do whatever he wishes me to do? It has no knowledge, so it cannot recognize at all. This is devoid of knowledge, insentient. So we can accept that this does not realize. But we are all sentients. We all have knowledge. Should we not agree that we are body of Paramatma? We even do not realize that. So those who do not have knowledge, it's right, we can accept they don't know. But we all have knowledge. So what is the purpose of that knowledge? To realize that I am a part of Paramatma, to realize that I enjoy a Sharira Atma relationship with Paramatma. Now can you say in spirituality, I am this body? They don't agree. In fact, that is ignorance if I tell that I am body. This body is perishable, I am eternal, permanent. So of course, I can be distinguished from this body. This body has no knowledge, I have knowledge. But even by the slip of a tongue, you have mentioned that I am body. Nothing wrong. You can easily change your words and confirm I was right, Swami. I am body. Or if you look at it from one angle, you are not this body, you are different. But if you look at it from the angle of Jivatma and Paramatma, every Jivatma is a body. Not this body, but every Jivatma is the body of Paramatma. So you can still say, I am body. Not this body, but I am the body, I am the part of Paramatma himself. This Shariratma Bhava and recognizing it is very vital for any spiritual progress. Now you also would appreciate that if this is my body, should it not listen to all my wishes? Should it not carry out all my commands? If it does not carry out, it would mean I am sick. Something is wrong with me. I have to go to the doctor. If I want to lift something, my hand doesn't move, then I am sick. I have to go to the doctor. Similarly, if this Jivatma doesn't carry out the orders of Paramatma, it would mean Jivatma is sick. Because Jiva is the body of Paramatma, he should have carried out, he should just live as per the wishes of Paramatma. If he does not, then this Jivatma is sick. That is when we say, Atma Ajnanatil Vodalagaran. When do we say that Atma is an Ajnani? When he does not carry out the wishes of Paramatma, he becomes an Ajnani. When he carries out the wishes of Paramatma, he becomes a Jnani. Why is this difference? Because in step 1, I have accepted that I am the body of Paramatma. Consequently, I have to act as per the wishes of Paramatma. Having accepted that I am his body, I do not act as per his wish, then of course there is a problem in between. So that problem has to be solved. Now, giving that preface, once you have this approach to today's topic, let me just introduce you the topic now. Why human birth is so important? It's so important because every Jivatma is a decision maker. Atma, you, me, they and all in this hall, all in this world, we are all decision makers. We have to decide our course. Decide on what? Either we have two on either side of us. One is Achetana, the insentient, and other is Paramatma, the omniscient. Paramatma is Sarvajna. Achetana is Ajna. It has no Jnana. Paramatma is full of Jnana. And this Jivatma ought to have been full of Jnana, unfortunately is clouded by Ajnana and suffering in this samsara. So this Jiva has to take a decision. I have on my one hand Achetana, on my other hand Paramachetana Bhagavan. Please note this nomenclature. The technical word used by all Vedantins are Ajna, Jnana, Sarvajna. Ajna, the ignorant, which has no knowledge, insentient Achetana. Jna, the Jnata Jivatma, one who has knowledge. It is supposed to have been blossomed, but it is not. It's clouded. It's unable to flow fully. But Paramatma, the ever sentient, the omniscient, who possesses complete knowledge, Sarvajna. Ajna, Jna, Sarvajna. This Jna Jivatma has to now decide, which one do I hold? Which one do I leave? You cannot hold everything in life. You will have to leave something to get something. Sacrifice something to achieve something else. If you want to eat and eat, sumptuously eat, then you cannot be fit. Unless you forego that, unless you sacrifice, you cannot be fit. And I can quote that verse even. Tyagena ike amrtatvamanashuhu. Tyagena yeke. Just by sacrifice, people achieve a lot. If you don't sacrifice, you don't get a gold medal, you won't get a job, you won't be fit, you will have all diseases on earth possible. So, no to sacrifice. This is true even for Laukika life and for Vaidika life. Vaidika sacrifice a lot. Laukikas also sacrifice. Even a runner, a sprint racer has to sacrifice and practice 4-5 hours daily, not eat too much, not eat less. He has to maintain so well to participate in a once in 4-year Olympics. Only then he can achieve his result. Similar is true for everybody of us. Either you can only hold one and you have to leave one. Either hold Achetana, hold on to it, enjoy Achetana and abandon Paramachetana, Paramatma. Or hold on to Paramatma and abandon Achetana. Only one of these two is possible. Which one? Bhagavan is not going to decide on your behalf. Achetana has no power to decide. Achetana has no knowledge. So that's not going to decide. Will Paramatma decide? He has already blessed this Jivatma with knowledge and left the responsibility of decision to him. Now it is left to me to take a decision. Which one do I hold? Which one do I leave? If I hold on to Achetana, then I am a materialistic person. If I hold on to Paramachetana Bhagavan, then I am a spiritual person. This is how I get defined. If I hold to Achetana and leave Paramatma, then I get into the cycles of births and deaths. If I hold on well to Paramatma and abandon Achetana, I get realization, a revelation, and liberation eventually. I don't undergo the cycles of births and deaths. No punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam. I get mukti. I get liberated. So this is the essence of, this is the system on which, this is the wheel on which the whole spirituality runs. The Tattva-traya, what all have we discussed now? Tattvas are 3 in number. Achetana, Chetana and Ishvara. How are they related? In Sharira Atma Bhava, the body-soul relationship. If the body doesn't react, it doesn't respond to the calls of the soul, then there is some problem with this body. It has to be treated. The treatment is, now know which one are you going to hold on to and which one will you abandon. Nammalvar says, Pattilan Ishanum, Muttavum Ninnanan, Pattilayai, Avan Muttiladange. Pattilan Ishanum. Isha is Paramatma. Pattilan is detached. Patri is attachment. Pattilan is a detached person. Pattilan Ishanum Muttavum Ninnanan. He is omniscient, found everywhere. Pattilayai, knowing him that he is so detached, I advise you. Alvar tells to us, he advises us, I advise you to Pattilayai. You also get detached from all Achetana, from all these material pleasures. Pattilayai, Avan Muttiladange. Go and surrender to the lotus feet of Sriman Narayana. Pattilan Ishanum Muttavum Ninnanan. He is there, well engulfing you all. Muttavum Ninnanan. Patti Ilayai, Avan Muttiladange. So what are we supposed to do? Hold on to one and leave the other. This is a decision is yours. We might have taken a decision, then on change our decision. It's not necessary that once we hold on to Achetana, abandon Paramatma, forever we would be doing so. It is not so. You can choose an option, then later on if you realize that you have chosen the wrong one, you are welcome to change it. But normally what happens is, you choose Achetana, but you don't choose Paramatma. It goes on for many births together. This continues. Lastly, by the blessings of God, by your own internal realization, you change your choice. You change, you now abandon Achetana and hold on to Paramatma. But I would not have seen, or I can't give you an example of someone who has spent holding on to Paramatma and then changing his decision, leaving him and coming to Achetana. This has never happened. We will all be Aishwaryarthis, we will all be materialistic for many births together. The day we transform, then on we continue to be spiritualistic. This is what we have all seen. So now you can see this slide. I have just made a few slides for you so that your task is made easier. Life as per Sanatana Dharma is accept 3 tattvas as it is mentioned in the Upanishads: Ishvara, Chetana and Achetana. The controller and guide is Ishvara. Bhagavan controls. But I have also told there he is a guide. There is a difference between these two. If you are a controller, then the power, the responsibility of decision making rests with the controller. Whereas I told you in my talk today that the responsibility of decision making rests with the Jivatma and not with Ishvara. Although Ishvara is a controller, by his controlling power, he has awarded the responsibility of decision making to the Jiva. He is a controller because he has granted me the decision making power. I am the decision maker because I have already received that power and I have been exercising that power. Since I have started to exercise that power, then Bhagavan will recede. He won't hold on to that power. Not that since he is not exercising that power, he is not my controller. He is still my controller. I was under the control of my parents till the age of 16. Or you can even take till the age of 4. This child was under the absolute control of his mother, of her mother. She used to feed on the right time. Whatever the child wants to, mother used to do. She kept the time clock. She knew when to give, what to give, where to give. She was taking care of everything. But when this child turned to be 10 or 12, the child did not relish anymore that this mother controls every part of the child. So the mother thought, if I have to enjoy a good working relationship with my child, then it is better I hand over the responsibility of taking care to him. So this mother handed over the responsibility. Then on the child has to take a decision. Although this is done, is the mother controller or not? Still mother has that control in hand. The reason being, she is the mother. She is the one who had carried this child for 10 long months. She is the one who has nurtured this child for 10 years. After that, by her, the power which she has as mother, the right which she enjoys as a mother, with that right, she had handed over the responsibility of decision making to her son or to her daughter. From then on, the daughter has to decide. If the decision is right, both are going to feel happy. If the decision is wrong, probably the daughter or son might feel happy temporarily. And from that moment, mother or father are not going to feel happy. This is what we see in this material world. So with her power, the mother grants that decision-making responsibility to her son. Similarly, Bhagavan has enormous powers. With that power, with his Swatantriya, unquestionable power, he has granted the responsibility of decision-making. It's a right. It's again a power. That power has been given to Jivatma. Now, is this Jivatma enjoying that power completely independent of Paramatma or dependently independent of Paramatma? It's not complete independence at all. It is again a dependent independence. It's dependent because he did not have that power on his own. He has not earned that power. He has been bestowed that power. He is not owning that power. He didn't have. As a child did not have that power of decision making. We too do not have. It has been bestowed on us by Paramatma. So again, partly and dependent on him. Now come to the case of Paramatma. He has already bestowed the power on this Jivatma. Now can he say, I am in no way responsible for anything that happens to the Jivatma? He too cannot say. As we are dependently independent, Paramatma also, although he has granted this power, he has to have a vigilant eye on this Jivatma, ultimately because any day, if this Jivatma falls, then the pain is equal to both. The pain is not only to the daughter or son. If the son's decision is wrong, it doesn't go with the son. Again, it's again on the parents. So although the parents have bestowed that power on their kin, but still their wrongdoings or their wrong decisions will also affect. It pains the parent. Similar is the case with Paramatma. So he is so vigilant. But the difference here is, the glorious difference is, no parent can reside in the mind or heart of any son. Whereas Paramatma resides in the mind and heart of every son and daughter. So he is there closely watching the power being exercised by Jivatma. But he never interferes. He waits and waits. He is waiting for the opportune moment to tell this Jivatma, you are wrong here, you are right here. But he has told that long ago. When? Paramatma never preaches sitting in our heart. He never does it. He has done it when he created this material world. He propounded all the Shastras. He gave away the Vedas. Then he incarnated as Krishna and preached Bhagavad Gita. All the rishis together, they preached the Upanishads. And many saints and sannyasis, they talk about Itihasas, Puranas. So Bhagavan took up the responsibility of correcting this Jivatma, not directly, but indirectly. He always preaches, but stops with preaching. He never tells you, he never catches you by your neck and pushes you anywhere. It's all only an indirect push that he does. This is where we are caught in a web. Since he is sitting here, if he takes the responsibility of physically minding us, physically controlling us, things would have been a lot more easier. Whereas he doesn't do that. Why does he not do that? He respects the jnana granted by him to us. We have been granted a jnana, a decision-making power, and he never wants to take back that power. He wants us to enjoy that power because we are all jnanis. How are we differentiated from achetana? With our jnana and thinking power. If we are not given a vent to our thinking power, we won't enjoy life at all. You must have an opening. You must have a window for our thinking power. So we have that power. We are jnanis. We have to take a decision. That decision is hold on to what? Abandon what? Abandon achetana, hold on to Ishvara. Why so? The reason being, both achetana and chetana are the properties or the belongings of Paramatma. As we have seen now, he is the controller. He is the one who owns these two. He owns two properties. For example, take you. You might be owning one property here and one property back in India. Which one would you rate better? Swami, here I have a home. There too I have. I have lot of advantages here, but still that home came to me as my ancestral property. My grandfather was owning it 120 years ago. So somehow I am emotionally attached to that property. I won't sell that. I might buy one, sell one, move to another city here. I might buy another property. I will do anything. But there, although the property won't be worth 10% of this, but still I attach some more importance to that property. Now you have to decide which one is better. Either this home or that home. It's easy for you to decide because both are insentient. Neither homes, neither of them have knowledge. This is also a property, that's also a property. Instead, I tell you, this is your son and this is your mobile phone. Now, can you compare both and tell me which one would you prefer? Do you prefer your son or daughter or do you prefer your mobile phone? Swami, இது ஏதோ ஒரு பொருள் இதை போய் பையனோட போய் சொல்ல சொல்றீரப்போ அது ஆத்மா and this is not Atma. He is an Atma. Whether daughter or son, he or she is an Atma. Whereas this is only an insentient object. So which one would you prefer? I prefer the one who has knowledge. Similarly, Bhagavan has two belongings. One Achetana, the other Chetana. Achetana is one belonging. Chetana is another belonging. If Bhagavan has to weigh both and decide which one does he weigh more, which one does he prefer, of course he would prefer only the Chetana because it's full of knowledge. He should, he will, he should. But now take the instance when this Chetana behaves as bad as Achetana. Because Achetana did not realize anything. Chetana should have. And Bhagavan will certainly give weightage to Chetana as he is full of knowledge. He will. But we should also enable him to give that weightage. How do we enable him? The moment I realize that I am a Chetana, I am full of knowledge, and the vent to that knowledge is to realize the Shariratma Bhava, and the importance of knowledge is to serve Paramatma. If I do that, then I stand apart. I stand much higher in my values to the Achetana insentient Tattva. If I don't do it, then Paramatma cannot weigh me better. He will only weigh. I don't find any difference between this Achetana and Chetana. And moreover, there is an added problem to it. Achetana behaving as Achetana is acceptable. Chetana behaving as Achetana is certainly not acceptable. So we have another problem too. Now we have to take a decision. Am I going to hold on to Achetana and abandon Ishvara, or will I hold on to Ishvara and abandon Chetana? And in this debate, I have spent at least 1 billion births. Probably I may be very low in my number, not 1 billion or 10 or hundreds and trillions of births. I have undergone Ananta Koti Peravigal. They don't specify this number because this number is too small. They only say Ananta Koti Janma, Ananta Koti Janma, countless, boundless Janma. They have gone past and past. In what? In just debating what to choose and what not to. Should I hang on to Ishvara and leave this Achetana? Now, given this test, is it so difficult to choose between Achetana and Paramachetana? You may think so. I like Mosambi. I like mango. I like both equally. One I have kept for this season and the other for summer season. Fine. If you want me to choose between the two, I find it very difficult. I mean, both are same. This is also tasty. That's also tasty. என்ன இது கொஞ்சம் குண்டாயிடும், மாம்பழம் நிறையா சாப்பிட்டா கொஞ்சம் சூடு ஜாஸ்தி, இது அப்படி இல்லை சாத்துக்குடி இன்னும் நல்லா இருக்கும், இவ்வளோ தான் பண்ண முடியும். Whereas, is it difficult for me similarly to choose between Achetana and Ishvara? Are they both equal in any aspect? They are just not equal in any aspect. In every aspect, Paramatma is much, much superior to Achetana, whereas I am so confused to choose between the two. Should I choose Achetana or should I choose Ishvara? So this is where we are all stuck. Since we are stuck here, we are born, and born, continuously born. How do we get out of this? It's possible only through a human birth. That's the key point here which you have to make. When we take any other birth as a lion or an ant or a devata or pitrukal or as a tree, as a plantain, as whatever it is, I don't have the decision-making power. I don't decide. As a human being, I decide. Please note that first point. Second point, whatever birth I take is only as a result of actions during a human birth. Please note, whatever actions I did during a human birth, they are accumulated and the result of those actions are different births. But in that different birth, if I do something, they are not accumulated, I am not granted another birth. That never happens. Everything happens only as a result of actions taken during human birth. I might get any other birth, then I have to return necessarily to a human birth. That's also very important. I might even go to Swargaloka, reach Narakaloka, reach Nagaloka, reach Chandraloka, but promptly I returned as a human being. This is what always happens. It may not happen immediately. From that, I might be made to wander around for many, many yugas. That's a different issue. But finally, I have to return to a human birth and start once for all again. So, whatever decision you would like to take, please take when you have taken a human birth. Because when you take some other birth, you may take many decisions to do something very good. As a mango tree, I have been feeding hundreds and hundreds of children. கல்லடிச்சாலும் எண்ணெய் அடிச்சாலும் உண்டை வெள்ளை அடிச்சாலும் எத்தனை தரம் மாம்பழம் கொடுத்துருக்காது. அவ்வளவு நல்ல மரம் தானே, புண்ணியம் கிடைக்குமா? கிடைக்காது. If you have taken a birth of a tree, you won't have any punya, although you feed hundreds and thousands of mangoes to every child possible. You don't have it. Now you reach Devaloka, you don't earn punya. You reach Narakaloka, you don't earn papa. Please note, you can only spend papa reaching Narakaloka, but you cannot do papa or punya. You can only spend punya in Swargaloka, you cannot earn punya or papa in Swargaloka. Whether earning and spending, both are possible in Manushaloka. The advantage in Manushya Janma as well as a disadvantage is I earn punya papa here, I can also enjoy the fruits of punya papa here. But I can earn punyam and papam here, I can enjoy the fruits, only enjoy in Swargaloka, only suffer in Narakaloka. I cannot enjoy in Naraka, I cannot suffer in Swarga, neither can I earn papa or punya in Swargaloka. I can earn as well as enjoy the fruits of papa and punya when I have taken a human birth. So, does it not become very, very vital now for our decision making? Only as a human being you can decide, you can practice a yoga. That's very important. Sitting in Swargaloka, have you heard of anyone practicing Bhakti Yoga? Will Krishna preach Indra? Will he call Indra, Chandra, Kubera, Varuna? Oh Varuna, from tomorrow you are going to be a Bhakti Yogi. So start practicing Bhakti Yoga. He never does it. All these gods, whether Varaha, Perumala, Narasimha, Perumala, Krishna, Rama, they only preach to us. Why? Why can't they preach to the Devatas? Why can't they preach to the Arusuras? They won't do because it's of no use to them. They cannot practice any yoga. Practicing yoga is possible only as a human being. Now see the difference. The difficulty for Devendra. Devendra, although he is blessed with so much of abundant wealth, he enjoys material pleasures like anything. But still, he cannot practice Bhakti Yoga and take a step towards Vaikuntham. In fact, it is closer to him. Vaikuntham should be closer to Indraloka. It's farther from us. Now, to digress a bit, let me quote one Pashuram from Alvar. He said, how far is Indraloka, Swargaloka, Chandraloka? Vedanul Pirayam Nuru, Manisharadam Puguvarelum, Padi Murangi Pogum, Ninnai Padinayandu, Pedai Palaha Nadahum, Pini Pashi Mupu Tunbam, Adalal Peravi Vendain, Arangaman Aharulane. This is the third stanza in Thirumalai of Tondaradipudi Alvar. He is so annoyed. He hates being born again in this material world. Why so? Why can't you reach Vaikuntham? There was a child. Mother was feeding the child. Child was adamant. It said, I won't eat now. I am not feeling hungry. But the mother knows that it's time to feed. So she has to somehow make the child eat. What to do? Oh child, don't worry. I will get you Ambuli Mama. I will get you moon. So you eat. The child was very smart. It took one, it took two, it had some vegetable, then it stopped. Now that I have carried out a part of your order, mother. Now you too carry out a part of your promise to me. Now get me moon, then I will have my balanced food. Mother said, it's not possible. Moon is too far, my child. I can't climb there and get you. Now this was all happening in the first floor of their apartment. Their father, this child's father, was standing in the 18th floor. He had gone there to pick their clothes. He was trying there. He had gone to pick their clothes. The child immediately told his mother, oh mother, why don't you call for Appa and tell him he would be closer to moon because he's in the 18th floor. So it would be easier for him to get moon for me to eat further. You tell. Mother said, whether we are in the first floor or he is in the 18th floor, both are equal, son. Don't worry. He is also quite far from Chandraloka. I am also quite far. Similarly, we are quite far from Vaikuntham. Not that Indra is closer to Vaikuntham. He is as far as we are from Vaikuntham. Probably he is in the 18th floor or the 180th floor. Vaikuntham is so far away. It is nowhere closer to what we think of. Even to Brahma's Satyaloka, it is very far. You would have heard about this Upanishadic verse. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. A person, a layman, he wanted to touch the glory, the Ananda, the eternal bliss of Paramatma. He wanted to measure that Ananda of Paramatma. How do we measure? We must have a known measure to measure an unknown measure. So a pot of rice is available. I don't know how much is it, but I have to take a kilo first and then start measuring how many kilos is the rice is. Similarly, he started to measure the glory of Paramatma, he needs a fundamental measuring point. He took Manushya Anandam as a measuring point. Let us first measure what Manushya Anandam is. From then on, multiply that by 100, Devanandam. Multiply by 100, Indranandam. Multiply by 100, Prajapati Anandam. Multiply by 100, Brahma Anandam, Chaturmukha Brahma Anandam. Now multiply that Anandam by 100. Will it be equal to Brahma Anandam? Will be equal to the Anandam of the Almighty? Veda said, I am unable to, I have failed. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. I am unable to catch the Anandam. I am unable to measure the Anandam of Paramatma. I am unable to do with my walk. I am unable to do with my eyes. I can't touch. So it all returned. That is the distance of Paramatma. That is where Vaikuntham is. So don't think that we are farther from Vaikuntham. Indra is closer to Vaikuntham. Let it be. But at least we are closer to Vaikuntham. You know why? Indra cannot perform any karma jnana bhakti yoga to reach Vaikuntham. At least I can perform. Sitting in this human world, I can perform bhakti yoga and reach. Whereas Indra, his only duty is to safeguard his chair. What else does he do? Sitting in Indraloka, he is so vigilant about all the sannyasis who do penance. He immediately sends Ramba, Tilottama, Urvashi, Menaka there and just spoils their penance. Why does this happen? He is so frightened that he is scared that someone will come as a competition to his seat. This is what Indra does. Of course, we don't do that. We are not bothered about many human beings coming to our seat. We can. And the only Atma who is so fond of sharing his seat with a much inferior Atma, the superior most Atma is Paramatma. The word itself suggests that's Parama-Atma, whereas he is willing to share his seat and give an equal status to him when we reach Sri Vaikuntha. This is the difference. If you reach Indra Padavi, when you reach Swargaloka, Indra will make all plans as much as possible to push you down. There is a story. Once, Yayati, he was a Raja. That Raja reached Vaikuntha. He had so much of great bounty, so he reached Swargaloka. He was a competitor. He sat by the side of Indra. Indra planned. He wanted to push Yayati back to earth. So he put a very, very smart question to Yayati. He asked him, who was the greatest emperor when you were ruling in this earth? Yayati had to reply. The truth was he was the greatest. All poets hailed that Yayati was the greatest. So he had to talk the truth. He can't lie. So he said, I was supposed to be the greatest emperor. Immediately Indra said, Atma prashamsai pandinai dhvamsa. You have talked, you have boasted about yourself. So you don't stand a chance in Indraloka. Go down. Now, if at all that person has lied, you know what would have happened? You lied, so you can't stay in Indraloka. Go down. Whether the answer is an affirmative or negative, you have lost your position there. This is what Indra does often. So we can't, there's no point in talking about Indra or other devatas. They don't stand a chance compared to us. We stand a better chance compared to Indra and other devatas. That's why all the acharyas, they rate alvars and rishis much superior to devatas. Because devatas' only job is to enjoy better material pleasure. I enjoy the same material pleasure here. Probably that would be better. இங்கே பண்ணி சக்கரை பொங்கல் சாப்பிட்டா 4 நாளைக்கு தான் சக்கரை பொங்கல் நல்லா இருக்கும். ஒரு வேளை வெல்லம் போட்டிருக்கும், சக்கரை போட்டிருக்கும், அது நல்லா இருக்காது. குழம்பு பண்ணால் உப்பு குறைச்சலா இருக்கலாம், அதெல்லாம் அங்கே இருக்காது. இப்படி வேணா சொல்லிக்கலாமே தவிர மற்றபடிக்கு என்ன பெருசாக அங்கே வித்தியாசம் வந்துட போகுது. நன்னா இருக்கும் எல்லாத்த விட. இங்கே பாட்டு கேட்டால் கொஞ்சம் அபஸ்வரத்தோட தான் இருக்கும், அங்கே அது இல்லாததாக இருக்கும். இங்கே யாரை பார்த்துருந்தாலும் ஆணுக்கும் கொஞ்ச நாளாக வயசாகிடும், பெண்ணுக்கும் கொஞ்ச நாளாக வயசாகும், அங்கே ஆகாதா இருக்கும். இவ்வளவு தானே மிஞ்சி ஆக போகிறது. இப்போ இதுக்கு மேலே எந்த ஆனந்தமும் கிடைக்காது இல்லையோ. But now, are we eligible for Vaikuntham or not? Compare devatas, compare those who are suffering in Naraka, compare with human beings, we stand a much better chance. In fact, we are the only eligible. Why a chance? Only we are eligible to reach there. All devatas will be worrying. Here is a Mukta Jiva who is marching ahead through Archiradi Marga to reach Vaikuntham. I am here on the way to bid a farewell to him. Unfortunately, I cannot accompany him. Now, day before, I told you about Ativahikas. Those who accompany this Mukta Jivatma through to Vaikuntham, right? We remember some of you would have attended, many of you would not. We pass through a glorious path called Archiradi Marga. There is a person who accompanies us. He is known as Samanava or Ativahika. Now, see the plight of that Ativahika. He can accompany me till the bank of river Viraja. I will cross Viraja and reach Vaikuntham, and this person has to return to get the other person. He cannot cross Viraja. He has not been granted moksham. He can accompany all those who go to Vaikuntham, but he cannot go to Vaikuntham. என்னமா அவர் நினைப்பார், கொஞ்சம் யோசிப்பார். எல்லாரையும் கொண்டு இந்த கரை வரைக்கும் விடுறேன், தாண்டி என்னால் வைகுந்தத்துக்கு போக முடியாதுன்னால், அதே this human being who is going to go across will cross Viraja, look back at Ativahika, shake hands and tell him, I am going ahead, go and fetch the next person. Again you will realize that human birth is very, very important. அதனால தான் தமிழ்ல சொல்லச்சே, அரிது அரிது மானிரடாய் பிறத்தல் அரிது. அரிது அரிது, it's rare. மானிடராய் பிறத்தல் அரிது. It is too rare to be born as a human being. Because you may think that it is quite simple, all are human beings. It is not so. We have been chosen to take this human birth when comparing. And in fact, the comparison is too many species. It's not one or two. One butterfly has about 27 lakh subsects. One elephant has about 120 subsects. One pig has about 1200 subsects. And compared with all, they have all been knocked out. I have taken the birth of a human being. I could have born as any one of these millions and millions of objects. Don't think that human beings are conspicuous, so only they are available. Others are not conspicuous. We don't see them. We don't come across them. But there are millions and millions of objects in earth. You can be. Now, please note this point too. When I take a birth in this body, I can take any body. I can take birth as a lion or a tree or a pig or a carpet, even in any body. In this body, there are millions of Atmans residing now. In this body. In every body you can find hundreds and thousands. But the more important point is, only one Jivatma would be enjoying the results of Papa and Punya with this body. Only one Atma. Not the second Atma. All other second, third and million Atmans would not be enjoying Papam and Punyam. They would just remain inside an inanimate object. They are just remaining in this insentient body. Only one Atma is blessed with that jnana to enjoy Punya or to suffer Papa. It's only one Atma. There are many, many other Atmans here too. If I cut my nail and throw, about 100 Atmans may be thrown to ground along with that nail. If I cut my hair and throw to earth, many thousands Atmans will go along with that hair to earth. He will lie there. When my body gets burnt, even then, only one Atman will exit. Exiting is only to one Atman. The Atman who has taken the form of human being, taken the birth of a human being to enjoy the fruits of Papa and Punya, only he would have exited, this body would have fell. Many other Atmans may still be there. Not only this dead body, but when this body is being burnt, even in that burning parts you may find many Atmans. Because you note the difference now. One Atman to enjoy the fruits and Papa Punya takes this body. Probably another Jivatma who is cursed now, due to his Papa, he has to take the body where he has to remain dormant. He cannot use his thinking power. His jnana differs now. How all these have to be calculated? Now, let me digress and tell you how is this done. I have Papa and Punya. I am blessed with a Sharira. I may be cursed with a Sharira. I may be blessed with a Sharira. If I am blessed, then it's a human birth. If I am cursed, then it's the birth of an animal or a bird or a tree. I may be cursed or I may be blessed. Now, being in this, let me also tell this. Now, this blessing, how does it happen? How is the process of Bhagavan deciding a birth to a Jivatma? A Jivatma has Punya. Bhagavan has to decide. Let him enjoy the fruits of this Punya in this birth. What does he decide? Will he decide everything about his father, his mother, his age, his last day, his studies, his education? That never happens like that. It's a general tool. As today, earlier days, we were building websites. The website developer has to develop everything for himself. He knows the software. With that, he has to write everything. He has to code and develop it. But today, lot of websites are not developed so. How do they do it? Tools are available. There are many tools available. Many set templates are available. It is enough that a developer picks those tools, adds them and create a website. That is what happens today. Similarly, Bhagavan also, he does not exactly decide that he will be born to this parent or he will die in this day. It doesn't happen so. He takes account of all his goods and bads. Then decides, this should be the level of his health. This should be the level of his wealth. This should be the level of his education. This should be the level of his enjoyment. This should be the level of his spouse. So he just makes all those basic templates. With that templates, it's the job of many creators. There are other devatas. Brahma creates and we Prajapatis would create. Many controllers are around this earth who do the job of this website development. Earlier, it's defined now. But for this, I have to enjoy this. For this, I have to suffer this. So you just complete with that. Bhagavan cannot take up the responsibility of doing a very simple job. So he only defines the broad parameters. How? Based on my karma, he defines this should be the suffering or this should be the enjoyment to this Jivatma. Once that is done, then many options are available to Brahma. He takes the decision. If I make him take birth in this family is like this, so he will have so much wealth. He will have so much health. He will have so much of enjoyment. So that's on a gross level. Again, so he takes that birth. Then it is left to the individual to transform his life. I have my right always. Even if I am born to a father who was a pauper, I can work well. But the environment was not conducive. Please note, the environment granted to you was not conducive to become wealthy. But you changed it to an opportunity. That was a problem. You changed it to an opportunity using what? The same Jiva Swatantriya given by Bhagavan. Bhagavan had already blessed you with Jnana, with Swatantriya. So although I had a very, it was not a conducive environment, it was against, but still, I with my effort can change. Now this is the game of this life. Please understand what happens here. We have done so many things. Bhagavan defines that I will take this birth. How are we differentiated in this birth? By the degree of jnana which we are supposed to hold. That is what differentiates. Now in a tree, you find a Jivatma. In this speaker, there are hundreds of Atmans. In this body, there are hundreds and millions. But one Jivatma with a lot of knowledge enjoys the fruit of Papa and Punya. And in this, inside this carpet, no, it's dormant knowledge. Inside a squirrel, little knowledge. Inside an elephant, much higher knowledge. Inside a penguin, much higher knowledge. Inside a cheetah, much higher knowledge. Inside a human being, much higher. Inside a devata, much higher. Inside Brahma, much higher. Still it is much higher. That's not the highest. Even Brahma will have some blemishes. He will also have something wanting in his knowledge. If something is not wanting and is complete in his knowledge, it can be enjoyed only by a Mukta Jivatma or a Nitya Jivatma. Paramatma is always omniscient. We are equal to his knowledge by our nature. But unfortunately, the nature is not out. It's not now glowing. Instead, we have been clouded. We have been shadowed. Since I am shadowed, the degree gets defined. Here is his Papa. Let him take the birth of a tree. Why? He will have only Uru Jnanam தான் இருக்கும். தமிழ்ல சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையோ, ஒரு உயிர் இருக்கும், ரெண்டு உயிர் இருக்கும், ஆறு உயிர் இருக்கும். இப்போ ஏழாவது உயிரெலாம் கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டாரு. ஆறாவது வந்திருக்கு, ஏழாவது வந்திருக்கு. அதை போய் நம்ம ட்ராமாலாம் பார்த்துட்டு வரோம், சினிமாலாம் பார்த்துட்டு வரோம். வச்சிருக்காடோ இல்லையோ, இருக்கட்டும், 7, 8, 9 எல்லாமே வரட்டும். வந்தால் என்ன சொல்கிறது? டிகிரி தானே. I have the simple knowledge, little knowledge that the tree will drink water and it will generate fruits, it will offer fruits. And if it's bit by an insect, then it will die, it will wither. To this extent, the tree has some life. Then go to an animal, to a bird, and you find in the animal strata, the lowest is fish. Then the strata improves further. Then we come to all the, from the amphibians, we move on to all the animals that are there, mammals. You go on and then, again, human being is a mammal. You come to that level. All this is degree of, the varying degree of jnana. So Bhagavan decides about the birth and he varies the degree of jnana. Based on that degree, I am given a birth. That may be a penguin or a devata or an asura or a human being. Now fortunately, as a human being, you enjoy a fair amount of jnana. No, Swami. If it had been, then why will I be sitting here? If I enjoyed a fair amount of jnana, you will not be talking and I will not be listening to you. எப்பவோ நானே ஒழுங்கா மோட்சத்துக்கு போயிருக்க மாட்டேனா? நீர் பேசிட்டே இருக்கு, நாங்களும் உட்காந்து கேட்டுட்டே இருக்கமேனால் இருக்கு. எல்லாருக்கும் ஞானம் இருக்கு. அதை விருத்தி பண்ணிக்கிறது. How do I improve on that knowledge is left to us. Now, none of you are wanting in knowledge. You all have. We are not wanting in knowledge, but we have knowledge in some other discipline. We are very knowledgeable in accounting. We are too knowledgeable in economics. We are very good in science. We are very good in medicine. But we are not good here. What's more important is this. Will science, medicine or economics talk about what we have been talking for the past 1 hour? It will certainly not talk. And it will say this is the waste talk. It also says so. இதை பற்றி யாரானு இப்போ கேட்க போனாலே என்னத்துக்கு டைம் வேஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கா, இவன் வேற ஹாலெல்லாம் எடுத்து லைட்டெல்லாம் போட்டு என்னென்னமோ பேசிட்டு இருக்காளேனால் அதுதான் அதுக்கு இருக்கிற அழகே. அதை போல மறைச்சு வச்சிருப்பாருங்க. இந்த சரீரம் பண்ணியிருக்கிறதே Ramanuja says Bhagavat Swarupa Tirodhanakari. This Sharira is known as Prakriti Prakrita. Prakriti is the primordial element of creation. From that Moola Prakriti, this body is created. This is known as Prakrita. This Prakrita has an amazing power. The power is, it is able to shadow Bhagavan from my mission, from my vision. Bhagavan is such an illustrious person. He glows, he is effulgent. Can anyone shadow the effulgence of Surya? Now, I am a fool saying so. When Surya cannot be shadowed, blocked, how can Bhagavan be blocked? This body does that. So is this body superior or stronger than Bhagavan? Or Bhagavan stronger to this body? Bhagavan himself has created this body. He says, Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. O Arjuna, I have blessed you with this body. This body is your prison. Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Maya in Vishishtadvaita, as per Ramanuja philosophy, is Maya is Prakriti. Mayantu Prakritim Vidyatu Mayanantu Maheshwaram. Maya is not illusion as per Ramanuja Siddhanta. Maya is Prakriti because Maya Vainam Jnanam. It is so bewildering. It's perplexing. It's so perplexing because it's so compound and complex that I forget everything when I get to this Prakriti. Although I am blessed with Jnana, I am just shadowed. I am unable to use that Jnana. So now, what all we have dealt? This Jiva has a set of Papa and Punya. Bhagavan decides the degree of Jnana that he should enjoy as a result of this Papa Punya, and that degree decides the birth. Whichever. If I have very little Jnana, it's a tree. Little more Jnana, it's a squirrel. Little more Jnana, an elephant. Little more a cheetah, little more a human being, much more Devata, much more Brahma. So after all these can be brought within definable templates. Let's see how this world is being run by Paramatma. He never gets into the finer details. It's too difficult, it's too complex. But for example, every time I open my computer, whatever may be the screen, it displays something else. The same screen. It may be a Yahoo screen or a Google screen. When I open, it shows me some news. After all, there are only about 10-15 news items that are put there. But when every time I open, it is not the same news item. If I call and ask the person who created this template, now, can you define which news item will come when I open now? The designer will tell me, I don't know. Is it right? He is the one who designed it. But he does not know which template will come up because he has only made a decision that let templates alternate. Let them come in rotation. He does, then it scrolls. When it scrolls, he cannot specify which will scroll in which minute. But he is the author. Author himself cannot. But there is a difference here. Bhagavan only makes the templates and makes it scroll. But fortunately, he knows which minute which one will scroll. The reason being, he is a Sarvatma. He is a Sarvajna. But this person is not a Sarvajna. He is a Jna. He is only a Jnata. He is not a Sarvajna. Bhagavan does both. He knows everything by minute details, but controls it not with minute details. Controlling with minute details at micro level is left to Devatas. Controlling at macro level rests with Paramatma Sriman Narayana. This is how he does this whole setup. Now that I have given an introduction, let us go ahead, because today we have to conclude early. Not like earlier days, and the more I talk, you are going to be more confused. So let me not talk more about this. This is what you have. Please keep this as your template now. This is the basics. We'll go further. So liberation is a result of realization. Now finally, where are we going to realize? I took birth as a tree or an animal or a bird. How do I get liberated? I have been going through these cycles forever. What should I do first? Now, born as a tree, can I do something to get liberated? I cannot, because a tree cannot do anything. Born as an asura, can he do something? He can only spoil. He can only further add to his papas. Fortunately, he doesn't. As an asura, Prahlada also transferred. As an asura, Hiranyakashipu died. Both happened. We have instances of both cases now. Now, what should I do? I have taken a birth. As a human being, I have thinking power. I have a process. I have already a set of documents that guides me in my thinking process. Those documents are Veda, Itihasa, Purana, Vedanta. I have knowledge, the tool. I have scriptures, the document. I have a decision problem in hand. I have a problem in hand, birth. I have to decide. Decide with what? The tool is Jnana. I am already blessed with Jnana. And there must be some supporting document to the tool. Some guiding document to the tool. You buy a washing machine. You can't use it on your own. They give a manual. Similarly, I am given a washing machine. This is the body to wash my karma. It's also given a manual. Manodharma Shastra, Itihasa, Purana, they are the manuals. Now I have to use my jnana, read the manual, conduct it rightly. What will if it goes repair, if it's repaired, you call for a technician, he comes. You know his first question, did you touch? If you had, you invite trouble. Even if you had tried something to meddle with it, you should தொடவே இல்லையே, எனக்கு அது தெரியவே தெரியாது, நான் தொடவே இல்லைன்னா தான் அவங்ககிட்ட கிளைம் பண்ண முடியும். இல்லைன்னா நீ தான் கெடுத்துன்னுட்டு 1000 ரூபா வேண்டப்படுவோம். அதனால அப்படி செய்யவே கூடாது. நம்ம அந்த புஸ்தகத்தை படிக்கணும், go through the manual, try. If you cannot, just leave it. Leave it to the technician. He will come, the engineer will repair it. Similarly, are we trying to meddle with this body? We are. Read the manual. Itihasa, Purana, Dharma Shastra. Conduct as prescribed by the manual. If you are unable to, there is a problem. Please give a call to the technician. When Alvars and Acharyas, the great engineers, when they come, they will ask, what did you meddle with? If I say, yes, I did try to this, இப்படி பண்ணேன், அப்படி பண்ணேன், இது உலகத்துக்கு ஓடினேன், அங்கே ஓடினேன், வெக்கேஷன், அது இது வேலை எல்லாம் சொன்னா, போச்சு, நீ பண்ணு தப்பு. நீ ஏன் பண்ண, அந்த புத்தகத்தில் இருக்கிறத நீ பண்ணியிருக்கனப்போ உடனே பிடிச்சிருவாடோ இல்லையோ, அதுதான் அவள் வெய்யற வசம் எல்லாம். இந்த டெக்னீஷியன் வந்து வெய்யறான் பாருங்க, அதே மாதிரி தான் ஆழ்வார் வந்து நீ இந்த தப்பு பண்ணிட்டேன், அதை தப்பு பண்ணிட்டேன், ஒன்றும் ஒழுங்கா பண்ணல, இப்போ உனக்கு பக்தியே இல்லை, ஞானமே இல்லை, நீ ஏன் வெய்யறான்னா இதான் காரணம். இப்போ அவன் வந்து வெய்யற மாதிரி, ஏன்னா புஸ்தகத்துல தானே இருக்கு. இப்போ so we get this body along with a manual. We have to read the manual and conduct. If you don't, at least stop there. Wait, give a call. He will come. Request for guidance. Then act as per the guidance. இப்படித்தான் நம்மால போறதுக்கே முடியும். Now what differentiates me from animals, from birds and from trees? What gives me the great opportunity of getting liberated? Realization. Jnana. As a human being, I have jnana which can decide. As a human being, I am given the opportunity to decide and to get liberated. As a tree, I am not given that opportunity. As a lion, I am not given that opportunity. I am given that opportunity only as a human being. That is the reason why all these acharyas come plead to us. They all plead to us. You learn, you learn. நம்ம சொல்லுவோம், என்னையே சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கிற, வசிட்டருக்கு அவர்கிட்ட சொல்லலாம் இல்லையோ, ஞானம் நிறைய இருக்கு, அப்ப அவர்கிட்ட போய் படின்னு சொல்லாமோ இல்லையா? சொல்லி பிரயோஜனம் இல்லையா? அவர் தான் படிச்சுட்டாரு. படிக்காதவ பிள்ளை தான் சொல்லி ஆகணும். இப்போ இன்னொன்று நீ ஒன்று செய், இந்த குரங்குக்கெல்லாம் சிம்பன்சிக்கெல்லாம் நிறைய ஞானம் இருக்கான், அதனால அதை போய் படிக்க சொல். எனக்கு இருக்கிறத விட அதுக்கு சொல்லலாம். அது ஞானத்தோட படிச்சு என்ன பண்ண போறது? இப்போ அது மோட்சம் போக முடியாது, அதுக்கு அந்த பர்த்தே இல்லையே. அந்த பர்த் இருக்கிறது எனக்கு. எந்த பிள்ளை ஓரளவு நன்னா படிக்குமோ அம்மா திரும்ப திரும்ப அந்த பிள்ளைகிட்ட தான் வருவோம். இப்போ யாரோ 32 தான் வாங்கிட்டு இருக்கான்னா மல்லு கட்டி பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை. இதே 70-75 வாங்கினா இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் படிச்சா 95 ஆகுமேன்னா அவங்ககிட்ட தான் கெஞ்ச முடியுமே தவிர, யாரோ 25 வாங்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க, இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் முயற்சி எடுத்து 35 தாண்டு ஏதோ பார்த்து தள்ளி விட்டுரு, அவ்வளவுதான் பண்ண முடியும். Similarly, why are all these acharyas coming to us? They stand in a queue to preach us. The reason is the preaching would be useful only to a human being. It will not be useful to Devendra. It will not be useful to Brahma. It will be useful only to me. Now, there is a finer complex issue with the Devas and Brahma. Although I told you that they only enjoy, there is a little complex there. I am not going to deal with that today. Brahma reaches Vaikuntha from Satyaloka. He does not return to this human world. But that's an exceptional case. That's a different issue now. I was talking in general. In general, whether you go to Swarga or Naraka, Pitraloka or Chandraloka, you have to promptly return. Again, start your sadhana in this human world. From here on, you reach Vaikuntha. Now, what makes me reach? It's that realization. It's the jnana that I am a human being. I have a right to decide. I can practice karma jnana bhakti yoga. I can reach Vaikuntha. I am a part of Paramatma. So this realization is the key for liberation. So human birth becomes very, very important. Both ways now. Now compared to an insentient object, boom, human birth is very important because they have no knowledge. Compared to a devata, human birth is more important because from there they can't reach. I can only do a sadhana. Please note this. One is a karma bhumi, sadhana bhumi. Other is a bhoga bhumi. We all call anything outside India as bhoga bhumi. நான் சத்தம் போட்டு சொல்லலாம், மெதுவாக தானே சொன்னேன். ஏப்பா இந்தியான்னு சொன்னால் உடனே கர்ம பூமின்னுவா. பாரத தேசம் ஆர்யாவர்த்தம் தட்சிணாவர்த்தம் 2 தேசம். It's collectively known as karma bhumi, where we perform. அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? இப்போ கர்ம பூமியில சம்பாதிச்சதை போக பூமியில போய் அனுபவிக்கணும்னு அர்த்தம். ஆனா இங்க சம்பாதிச்ச நீங்க வந்து இந்தியாவில தான் செலவழிச்சுட்டு இருக்கு. இந்தியாவில சம்பாதிச்சா இங்க வந்து செலவழிக்க முடியும். செலவழிச்சா வகுக்கிறதுனா வகுக்கணும். 50ஆல வகுத்தான்னா இங்க வந்து செலவழிக்க முடியும். இங்க சம்பாதிச்சுட்டு அங்க வந்து செலவினா பெருக்கலாம். 50ஆல பெருக்கின்னு வரலாம். அங்க சம்பாதிச்சு இங்க வந்து வகுக்கணுமோ இல்லையோ. அதனால அது பண்ண முடியாது. நான் சொல்ல வர்றது இப்போ karma bhumi is India, bhoga bhumi is outside as it is. That may be true, may not be true. I am not talking about that. But it's true that this bhuloka is sadhana bhumi, swargaloka is bhoga bhumi. There is no second opinion on that. We all earn here. And to the bhoga, for enjoyment or suffering, to bhoga bhumi, to swarga, or to the suffering bhumi, naraka. And after we spend the papa that created this swarga anubhava or naraka anubhava, once that particular papa or punya are spent, we return to kshine punya martyalokam vishanti. So this knowledge is important. Realization that I stand a very good opportunity to score now. If not now, I don't know when in the next cycle. இப்போ இது தெரியுது. Next when? Why not? I will take birth as a human being again. Again I will start from everything from scratch. It doesn't happen so. If you have earned more papam in this birth as a human being, then you are not sure of a human birth again. It might take another billion births for you to get back a human birth. Till such time, you will have to wait, and you will be waiting without knowing that you are waiting. That is the beauty of this samsara. You will not even be instructed that you are waiting. You don't know. I am quite happy. Edhe mari. யாரெல்லாம் ட்ரக் அடிக்டோ சாப்பிட்டுட்டே இருப்பார், ஆனந்தமா இருக்க மாதிரி இருப்பார், ஆனா அவருக்கு தான் அடிக்டட்னே தெரியும். ஆனா அதை சாப்பிட்டுட்டே இருக்கார். குடிக்கிறவரா இருக்கலாம், ஏதோ ட்ரக் அப்ளை பண்றவரா இருக்கலாம், இருந்துட்டு அதுல ஆனந்தமா இருக்க மாதிரி இருக்கார் பாருங்க. ஆச்சாரியா says we are all drug addicts here in samsara. We think we are enjoying, but in fact you are not enjoying, and you stand a chance for much more better, best permanent enjoyment. Please note these two words. One, alpa asthira phalaka. Another, ananta sthira phalaka. Alpa asthira phala, ananta sthira phala. Alpa asthira phala is material pleasure. It's alpa, it's quite very little. Alpa, it's very inferior. Asthira, it's very temporary. Alpa asthira phala. Whereas Bhagavadananda is ananta sthira phala. Bhagavadananda, Bhagavadanubhava is ananta, boundless, sthira, or eternal. It's always permanent. So you are comparing two things that are uncomparable. They cannot be compared. One is alpa asthira phala, other is ananta sthira phala. Unfortunately, we compare these two and decide this alpa asthira phala is great. And we have been taking this decision for billions of births together. Someone comes and tell you, here it's so conspicuous that it is ananta sthira phala. I am unable to see that. Why? This body clouds. This body is such a great object given by Bhagavan, which simply clouds Bhagavan himself. It is able to block the effulgence of Surya, of Koti Surya even. That's why Krishna mentions Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratteya, Mama Maya Duratteya. You cannot cross over this Maya. This Maya is where I have imprisoned you. Unless you hold on to my lotus feet, Mameva ye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. One who surrenders to me, etam mayam te taranti. They only cross this samsara sagara. So realization is very, very important. Let us go to the... இல்லைடா இந்த வேலையெல்லாம் எனக்கு பண்ணத்துக்கு தெரியாது. இதை சொல்லணுன்னா சொல்லத்தான் எனக்கு தெரியுமே தவிர இந்தா நீங்கள் வச்சுக்கோங்க. Why birth? I have already covered this. I am only going to read from the slide. Birth is a result of our actions. Good and bad actions. Good actions are named as punya. Bad actions are named as papa. I can give you an example to it. It is like points that you earn with a frequent flyer program, or when you use your credit card, you earn some points. Those points should not be allowed to lapse. They constantly instruct you, redeem your points, redeem your points. I can allow to lapse, but here the person who prompts you to redeem is Sriman Narayana. So he won't allow you to lapse those points. You will have to spend those points. You have positive points and negative points. They have to be redeemed. To redeem the point, you have to buy some material. You have to buy a cooker or a sari or whatever it is. Similarly, my positive earned points are punya. My negative earned points are papa. They will have to be necessarily redeemed. To punya, I go to any enjoyment. They are in the process of redemption. To papa, I suffer a lot in the process of redemption. So it's like this. It goes like that. You can allow points to be, you can allow them to lapse, but we cannot allow papa or punya to lapse here. You have one opportunity. You can allow punya to lapse. You can tell Bhagavan that I don't require the fruit of punya, as I would like to reach your lotus feet. I am not interested in any other material benefit. Similarly, you can't say so for papa. You can say only for punya. Now, good and bad actions. Actions have to be awarded or punished. Punya is awarded with enjoyment. Papa is punished with suffering. Points earned in your credit card are redeemed. Else, they lapse. This is what happens in world. Here, papa and punya do not lapse. What happens then? They get carried over to your coming births. You may take any number of births, your papa and punya are carried over, but are carried over to the next birth. Atma is born to enjoy or suffer for papa and punya. Why do we take birth? It is just to enjoy or suffer the effects of the results of papa and punya. Prarabdha karma. This is known as prarabdha karma. There are two types of karma. Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma. Sanchita karma is a big basket. Whenever I do something, it's a direct credit to the basket of sanchita karma. I do something good, punya gets credited to the basket of sanchita. I do something bad, papa gets debited to the basket of sanchita. So, there is nothing in between. You might have heard about collection centers. A big company, they would have branches. Branches would do collection, but they are not authorized to use the collection for their expenditure. If you are an accountant, you would know that. They will all collect. Every collection has to be credited to a centralized account. It will all go there. Then the branch has to submit an expenditure budgeted statement. The central office will give you, now I am transferring this money for your budgeted expenditure. Then you spend. You are not authorized to touch the collection. All collection will go directly. Why is this done? It is done to ensure that no collection is missed out or no indiscriminate expenditure happens, right? If this is not controlled, then one side I will collect a lakh of rupees. Since I look money in my hand, I will unnecessarily spend more. My budget would have been 20,000. I would spend even 30,000-40,000. I'll have only the balance. After sending the balance, the central office cannot question you. It's done. After spending, there is no point in questioning. You have to budget before, spend as per the budget. If you overshoot, central office would question. Only then it will work. If you don't follow this system, then you have to authorize, you must have a very good branch manager who has self-control. If the branch manager has got very good control, you can allow this to happen. Generally, they don't have. So, central office never allows that. You collect all collection to central office. Whatever you want, give me a budget, give that estimate, I will transfer you money. Similar is the case here. Whenever we add to papa and punya, they are not left with you. It goes to a central bank called Sanchita Karma. Direct credit, direct debit. Then from there, you are Bhagavan gives you a part of that Sanchita Karma, and the portion of that karma, please note, the portion of Sanchita Karma to which you have started enjoying or suffering, to which you have started reaping the fruits, is known as Prarabdha Karma. You can call them as Arabdha Karma, that which has begun. Arabdha, that which has started yielding results, is Arabdha Karma. So Bhagavan gives you a handful of Arabdha Karma. I enjoy or suffer, that's over. Once I spend that particular portion of karma, then nothing is lost, nothing is closed now. Big basket is still available. I have a central office which is full of karma, so he says, now that you have exhausted, please come. I will give you another small basket. கோவிலில் சுண்டல் பண்ணுவா, பண்ணிவிட்டு அதுக்கு சுதந்திரம் எடுத்து வைக்கிறதுன்னு உண்டு. எடுத்து வச்சிடணும். ஒரு பாதி எடுத்து உள்ளே வச்சுட்டு அப்படியே அந்த அர்ச்சகர் கூட்டத்தை பார்ப்பார். அது எப்படியோ தெரியாது, அந்த கண்ணால கூட்டத்தை அளந்துடுவார். அளந்துட்டு கொடுக்க போச்சு எவ்வளவு எடுக்கணுங்கிறத அவர் கையே முடிவு பண்ணும். அவர் முடிவு பண்ண வேண்டாம், அவர் கை அதை முடிவு பண்ண எவ்வளவு கொடுக்கணும் கொடுப்பார் கொடுப்பார் கொடுப்பார். இந்த கடைசியில் இருக்கிற ஒரு பிள்ளை கொடுத்து முடிக்கச்சு அப்படி கூடையை திருப்பி காமிச்சிட்டு வரும், ஒண்ணுமே இருக்காது கூடையில. அப்ப பார்த்து யாரோ சுவாமி கிடு கிடு கிடுன்னு சேவிக்கு வருவார். நாழி அடிச்சாங்க, கொஞ்சம் கொடுமேன்னா பெசா பின்னாடி வரும். அழைச்சின்னு போனா உள்ள பெரிய பொட்டி இருக்கோ இல்லையோ, அதுல முதல்ல எடுத்து வச்சுட்டு வந்திருக்காரு. அங்கேருந்து ஒரு கையை மட்டும் எடுத்து இந்தா இருக்கணும், இப்படி போ அப்படி போகாதீங்க, இப்படி போனா அப்புறம் எல்லாரும் பார்த்துட்டு திரும்ப எல்லாரும் வாவான்னு வந்திருந்தாள்னா அப்ப பெரிய கூடையில வச்சிருந்துக்கிறது எடுத்து கொடுக்குற மாதிரி தான் இங்கேயும் நடக்கிறது. இப்போ இந்த கூடையை நானே தான் ரொப்பியிருக்கேன். I have filled my sanchita karma. So Bhagavan draws a portion from the sanchita and makes me enjoy or suffer. Once that is over, this is where the catch is. You may think, to enjoy punya, I reach Swarga, it's exhausted now, then why do I get back? I have exhausted my karma. When it is over there, why do I get back? I get back because I have exhausted only that particular karma, only that prarabdha karma, which the result is Swarga or Naraka. I have not exhausted the whole lot. Still there. To exhaust even, to spend one prarabdha karma may take 10 births. To spend one prarabdha karma may take 10 sufferings or 10 enjoyments. So Brahma Rudra, Purattalvan says that, Tat kilbishaihi srijati janturiha kshanarthe. That which can only be dispelled, which can only be exhausted by taking about hundreds and millions of Brahma Janma, not Manusha Janma. Brahma Janma is too long in its lifespan. So taking hundreds of Brahma Janma, if you can exhaust one papa, that papa is accumulated by a Jivatma in half second. He says in half second, you can earn a papa to which you will have to suffer for 100 Brahma Ayuskalam. இப்படின்னா நம்ம எத்தனை வருஷம் வாழ்ந்துருக்கோம்னு கணக்கு பண்ணிக்க வேண்டியதுதான். அதில் வந்து செகண்ட்ஸை மல்டிப்ளை பண்ணிக்க வேண்டியதுதான். இப்படி தான் இருக்குப்போ. அதனாலே அது வேண்டாம், இப்போ பயப்படாது நீங்கள் யாரப்போ. நம்ம எத்தனையோ வருஷம் வாழ்ந்துட்டோம் நிமிந்துட்டோப்போ. சேம் in the same tone Kurattalvan adds that, and this, all this is redeemed by you, ho Devaraja, the moment I surrender to you. Kshamyasya ho tad abhisandhi virama matrat. Aho kshamyasi. You pardon me of all these papa the moment I surrender to you. Aho tad abhisandhi virama matrat. He does not expect us to surrender completely. Abhisandhi virama matrat. If you just take a decision or consider the decision that can I stop these wrongdoings? You have not stopped yet. You are only considering whether you can stop the wrongdoings. If you consider, Bhagavan forgives. You need not stop at all. There was a Vedika Channar, there will be environmental conferences. 180 countries joined together. They talk a lot. Some countries claim that we still have the right to pollute more. So you can't say so. Other countries, developed countries will say that, no, you should not. But the developing countries would say, you have already polluted, so you are talking now. We have the right to pollute. Nothing, no resolution will be reached. They will all come out. Reporters will ask, now what have you conducted now? We have fixed the date for the next conference. That's what that. வேற ஒண்ணுமே பேச முடியல. இப்போ என்னதான் பண்ணினால், அதாவது இந்த குறைபாட்டை குறைப்பதற்காக ஒரு கமிஷன் போடணுங்கிறதுக்காக, அதுக்கு ஒரு ரிட்டையர்ட் ஜட்ஜை வைக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காக, முடிவு பண்றதுக்காக மந்திரி ஒரு மீட்டிங்க்கு போறதுக்காக இருக்கார். இப்படின்னா என்னவோ அதை போல பாவம் பண்ண மாட்டேன் நான் கன்சிடர் பண்ணச்சே பெருமாள் எல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்துடுறாராம். க்ஷாம்யஸ்யஹோ தத் அபிசந்தி விராம மாத்ராத்னார். It talks about the level of compassion which we are up to. He is an ocean of compassion. We are an ocean of compulsion. நமக்கு இருக்கிறதெல்லாம் இதுதான், அவருக்கு இருக்கிறதெல்லாம் கம்பேஷன் தான். அப்போ அதை பார்த்து நம்ம மேலே வந்து ஆகணுமோ இல்லையோ. Let us continue. So Atma is born to enjoy or suffer for punya or papa. Now that you know about sanchita karma and the portion of prarabdha karma are available. They are still there. Once even you exhaust your prarabdha karma, Bhagavan draws from sanchita karma. What happens when we surrender to him? Immediately, the entire basket of sanchita karma is just destroyed. He destroys in one stroke. It's a one-stroke settlement with a bank. Go to a bank, you have borrowed. You are unable to pay. You have interest, vattikku kutti potti, ellam valandirukku. Avvalavu nariya irukku. We go for a one-time settlement. Another name for Sharanagati is OTS. One-time settlement. So you go, you surrender to the bank and request him, why don't you waive? Waive what? Waive the principal. I began there. Swami, இது ரொம்ப நியாயம். ஏதோ இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்டை waive பண்ணு, compound interest-ஐ waive பண்ணுன்னா நியாயம். Can you waive the principle? We go, we plead to Bhagavan and he waives. Principle is Sanchita karma. Interest is Prarabdha karma. So Bhagavan only holds back to the interest portion. He says, I have already waived the principal karma, because the problem is, if you waive interest alone, matter does not end here. So the principle is still alive. As far as Sanchita karma is alive, you can't be redeemed, because you'll be drawing and drawing and drawing. So Bhagavan first redeems Sanchita karma. Then I am left with Prarabdha karma. He further says, interest on interest is also waived. Principle is waived. Interest on interest is waived. What is that interest on interest? Sharirantar Arabdha karma. I have certain Arabdha karmas which have started enjoying or suffering in this birth. Sharirantar Arabdha karma, which is waiting for my next birth. There may be still more papas which won't be exhausted in this janma. It may get exhausted only in future janmas. Bhagavan says, if I allow him for future janma, then this Sharanagati is a waste. I have to conclude his janma, I have to take him to Shivaikuntham. So, let me waive all the interest on interest. So, any karma that's going to bear fruit in future dharmas, let me waive them too. What are you left with now? Just the interest portion. Those karmas which you have started enjoying or suffering in this birth. Whatever is left in this birth will be there. Bhagavan says, now this you have to suffer. No other go. I have waived the Sanchita karma. I have waived the Sharirantar Arabdha karma. Now Vartamana Sharira Arabdha karma is, you will have to complete it. Now, can I complete? Yes. I should complete within what age? That depends on you. If you want to reach moksham in the age of 50 itself, complete it before that. If you are happy with 80 or 81, complete it before that. Now take a decision. If you are there for 80 or 90, till such time you will be suffering. If you want to reach moksham at 50, you will suffer only till such time, which is preferable. இந்த கேள்வி நம்ம கேட்டுக்கிறதே இல்லை இப்போ. ஏன்னா இது தெரியவே தெரியாது. இதுதான் நடந்துட்டு இருக்குன்னு தெரிஞ்சாத்தானே எப்போ போகணுமோ. அல்ல நன்னா ஷட்டத்து பூர்த்தி கனகாபிஷேகம் பண்ணிட்டு பேரனுக்கு பேரம் பிறந்து அவன் தலையால் நான் தங்கத்தாம்பாளத்தில் வச்சு தங்க கொட்டுட்டு போனோம்னா போகணும். அது வரைக்கும் பிராரப்தம் கொட்டிகிட்டே இருக்கும். அதையும் புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். தங்கத்தாம்பாளத்தில் வச்சு போகிறது ஒரு பக்கம் இருக்கட்டும். அது வரைக்கும் நான் இருந்து பட்டாகணும் இல்லையோ தெரியறது இல்லை. அது தெரியறதுக்கு உண்டான we don't undergo that basic education. அது இல்லையோ இல்லையோ. யார் இப்போ வேதத்துக்கு போகிறோமா, கிளாஸுக்கு போகிறோமா, இதுதான் இப்படின்னு சயின்ஸும் மேத்தமேட்டிக்ஸும் சொன்ன மாதிரி சொல்லிக் கொடுக்க போகிறாளா? சொல்லிக் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு இருக்கா? நம்ம போகணும் இல்லை. If we show interest, little interest, after all it took us only 1 hour 40 minutes to know everything now. And if you are able to spend another 10 hours in that, you will know, you will become an expert. அப்புறம் என்ன பண்ணிடுவோம்? We will start trying, is there a shortcut in this? நல்லா சொன்னார். அதுக்கு நமக்கு ஏதான வழி இருக்கா? ஒரு டாம் போட்டுக்கலாமா? ஏதான போட்டா அதே தான் நமக்கு வழி சொல்லுமா? அப்படின்னு தேட ஆரம்பிச்சோம். எல்லாம் இல்லை. Too smart is Sriman Narayana. He is the omniscient and he has already fooled himself. By the process of Sharanagati, he is willing to get fooled. Please note, Bhagavan has decided to get cheated, get fooled by the process of Sharanagati. He himself has established that. You fool me, I have no problem. And it's an eyewash. He knows it is an eyewash, but he only sees whether you intend to that eyewash. If you have the right intention to wash him, he is fine with that. அதுதான் நாம் இப்போ புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். அதனால come back, get back. Abundant karma, birth, family, education, health, wealth, and primarily decided by past karmas. Our past karma will decide all primarily, as I told you, not secondary or tertiary. That's all dependent on your drishta. You exercise well, you will have a healthy body. You eat well, you will have a good, you are better. If you prevent, you cure well, you are better. Then if you earn well, if you have more efforts, you try a lot, you work hard, you earn more. திருவேங்கடமுடையா நிறையா சம்பாதிக்கிறாரு. எப்படி சாமி அவருக்கு மட்டும் அவ்வளோ பணம் கொட்டுறது? பக்கத்தில் பார்த்து நிறைய விதேசருக்கு இல்லை. அவர் 23 மணி நேரம் நிற்கிறார். நீங்கள் எல்லாரும் கார்த்தால 8:30 மணிக்கு கோவிலை திறந்துட்டு 4:45 மணிக்கு சாத்திட்டு போனால் என்ன சம்பாதிக்க பண்ண முடியும் சொல்லுங்க? கொஞ்சமாக உழைச்சா கொஞ்சம் தான் கிடைக்கும், நிறையா உழைச்சா நிறையா கிடைக்கும். அவர் ராத்திரி 2:15 மணிக்கு கதவை திறக்கிறா, 1:45 மணிக்கு கதவை போடுறா. அப்படின்னா நிறைய தான் வரும். எந்த பெருமாள் அத்தனை நிற்கிறார்? எல்லாரும் 8:30 மணிக்கு தான் விஸ்வரூபம். சாயங்காலம் 7 மணிக்கு போனால் கதவை சாத்திட்டு வந்துட்டா. இப்படி இருந்தால் எப்படி சம்பாதிக்க முடியும் சொல்லுங்க? அதனால தான் நிறைய உழைங்கோ நிறையா சம்பாதிக்கலாம். எக்ஸாம்பிள் திருவேங்கடமுடையான். ஸோ abundant punya would give a deva birth. If you are blessed with more punya, then it's a birth of deva. Equal measure of punya and papa. Note that. Equal measure of punya and papa will make you take a good birth in this human world. Not necessary that every time you have to go to a Devaloka or Narakaloka and return. Not at all. You can very well be born within the same Bhuloka, within Manushya-loka. That is possible when you have almost equal measure of papa and punya. I have done punya and papa. It's equally measurable. So I am here. Abundant punya will only take you to Swargaloka. Abundant papa will take you to Narakaloka. Moreover, to reach Swargam, probably I would have done a yajna called Jyotishtoma. Jyotishtoma Swargakamo yajeta. Vedavakya says, you perform Jyotishtoma yajna, you reach Swarga. If at all you want it, then you can. So there is a means prescribed by the Vedas to reach Swargaloka. No means prescribed by Veda to reach Narakaloka. That's all we invented. He never said so. Nama pati enna pannumo panni correcta poitu madru vandida appo. Abundant punya would give a deva birth. Equal measure of punya and papa would give human birth. Cruel papa would result in asura rakshasa or naraka. You may be born as asura, rakshasa or reach naraka. Mental offense, that is manasa apachara, vachika apachara, kayika apachara. Manasa apachara offense leads to tree or stone birth. Then vocal offense results in birds or animal birth. Vachikaihi pakshi mirgatam. Vachika apachara pakshi mirgatam. Physical offense ends in a lower birth. Probably you are born as a human being, but without any respect or anything. It's in a lower birth. Count on the effect of vasana and ruchi. Now, when we migrate from one birth to the other, what can we take with us? What should we take with us? We take a baggage. The baggage contains these: vasana, ruchi, karma, and the subtle indriyas, sukshma indriya. Whichever birth I take, I have to carry the vasana. Vasana is imprints in mind. I have taken countless births. I have done, acted in a similar fashion. I have ate, I have drunk, I have answered to my nature's call, I have married, I have done so many things. All are similar. Whether it be a birth of a cow or a man or whoever it is, these fundamentals are same in any birth. குழந்தை பிறந்த உடனே அழறதோ இல்லையோ, ஏன்னா அது எப்போ அழுதுருக்கு. குழந்தை பிறந்த உடனே சாப்பிட்றது, அது கண்ணுக்குட்டி பிறந்தாலும் சாப்பிட்றது, குழந்தை பிறந்தாலும் சாப்பிட்றது, எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் சாப்பிடும், எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் மலமூத்திரத்தை பெருக்கும், எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் படிக்காது. அது தெளிவாக இருக்கும் இல்லையோ. கண்ணுக்குட்டி பிறந்தாலும் படிக்காது, மனுஷக்குட்டி பிறந்தாலும் பறக்காது. ரெண்டுமே படிக்க போகிறது இல்லை. ஆனால் ரெண்டுமே அழுவும், ரெண்டுமே பால் சாப்பிடும், ரெண்டுமே குப்புறப்படுத்துக்கும், ரெண்டுமே நகர பார்க்கும், ரெண்டுமே சண்டை போடும். இது எல்லாத்தையும் பண்ணிடும். ஆனால் படின்னு சொன்னால் மட்டும் அது முடியாது. ஏன்னா வாசனையே இல்லையோ இல்லையோ. ஏற்கனவே படிச்சிருந்த இம்ப்ரிண்ட் இருந்தால் இப்போ வரும். இப்போ so whatever is common to all births will continue. Whatever is uncommon, you have to try and earn. So please note that point. All these imprints are vasana. Then there's another one, ruchi. Ruchi is a compelling taste. To give you a difference between vasana and ruchi, I look at something, I am naturally drawn towards that wrong. That's an effect of vasana. As I have been drawn towards that, I am not naturally drawn towards Ishvara, whereas I am naturally drawn towards any enjoyment. This is due to my past vasana. Then my intellect tells me that this is not my nature. I should have enjoyed greatness with Paramatma. Why am I being drawn? Probably this is the effect of vasana, so I should not go near. But I still go near. Before I am instructed that this is wrong, when I go, it's an effect of vasana. But even after realizing that this is wrong when I go, it's an effect of ruchi. So this is the difference between the two. Vasana is before instruction. Ruchi is after instruction. That's why I have told that there's a compelling taste. Vasana is not a compelling taste. It's only a natural draw. You are naturally absorbed towards something as you have been doing it for many births. But even after someone tells you that this is not your nature, don't go near, when I go, that's with a compelling taste, that is ruchi. So I carry this. I carry my carried over karma, vasana, ruchi, and sukshma indriya. My eyes, ears, nose, tongue, speech, all have a subtle indriya inside. These are all the gross indriyas. This is chakshur golakam nu peru. This is shrotra golakam nu peru. This is kulla sukshma indriya irukku. And the sukshma indriyathiyum eduthu தான் போணும். I have to carry that too to the next birth. Only then. Manas is also carried. Please note. Manas is also an antahkarana, a very subtle indriya. We carry that too. Manas, vak, kayam, all these sukshma indriyas, vasana, ruchi, karma. This is what we carry when we migrate to the next birth. Now, human life in this context. Now, given these circumstances, what is the importance of human life? Slide 3. Kapuya charanaha kapuyam yonim apanneran. Ramaniya charanaha ramaniyam yonim apanneran. Upanishad says this. Kapuya charanaha kapuyam yonim apanneran. You get him kaleva? Kapuya charanaha. In the Papa Bundi, Ella Buddha Purjin Bulgi, then Buril, Kapuya Charanaha, Kapuyam Yuanim Apanneran, Ramaniya Charanaha, Ramaniyam Yuanim Apanneran, Kapuya, Papa, Ramaniya, Punya. One who has Punya to his credit, he continuously takes Punya Janma. This is another catch here. Because I have a doubt now. I have Punya, I take Punya Janma, then on what? What should be the next Janma? Since I am already in the path of Punya, I will continue with Punya Janma. If I am already in the path of Papa, I will continue with Papa Janma. Then, where is the point of return? I cannot correct myself at all. Once I take a decision to do Punya, I continue with Punya Janma. Once I decide to do Papa, then I continue with Papa Janma. There is no point in instructing. The Veda should not preach at all. It will go a waste. That's not the case. Although you will continue, theoretically, although you will continue, technically you will continue to take Papa Janma. But still, you are given the free will. Atma Swatantriam is very much with you. You can decide, I have taken a Janma as a result of Papa, but still, I would like to correct myself. I would like to mend my ways. How? By Acharya Sri Sukti, the preachings of Acharya, the blessings of Bhagavan, by doing some good actions which would redeem my little papas that are obstacles in my progressive path. When all these happen, it's a complex issue. When these things happen, it all falls into place. That is when Bhagavan blesses us. So, Kapuya Charanaha, not that any Papa Jivatma will continue. Prahlada took the birth as an Asura as a result of his Papa. But he was able to mend his ways. As an Asura, it's because of Papa too. His birth is as a result of Papa Karma. Vibhishana's birth as a Rakshasa is a result of his Papa Karma. Whereas he could mend his ways. He could in fact make Narasimha Perumal appear before him. Anale, ஒரு தரம் முடிவெடுத்தா முடிச்சதுதான்லாம் இல்லை. இப்போ இது இந்தியாவில் போனீங்கன்னா 9th ஸ்டாண்டர்டில் என்ன படிக்கணும்னு முடிவெடுத்தீங்களோ வாழ்க்கையே முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. அப்புறம் தொடவே முடியாது. 9th 10th வந்தது, வந்த உடனே காமர்ஸ் குரூப் அவ்வளோதான் பிராண்டட். அதுக்கப்புறம் இவர் சயின்ஸ் குரூப் அத்தோட முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. ஆனால் வெளிநாட்டில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நான் 28 வயசு வரைக்கும் டாக்டருக்கு படித்தேன், அதெல்லாம் படித்தேன்னு இருப்பா. அது என்ன எனக்கு பிடிக்கல, 4 வருஷம் டாக்டராக வேலை பார்த்தேன், 32 வயசுக்கு லாயர் ஆனேன்பா. இதெல்லாம் நாங்கள் கேள்வியே பட்டது கிடையாது. எங்களுக்கு 10ஆவதோட வாழ்க்கையே முடிச்சிருவோம், செட்டில்டுவோம். 10ஆவது படித்து ஒருத்தர் காமர்ஸ் குரூப் எடுத்தாருன்னா அத்தோட அவர் வாழ்க்கை செட்டில். இனிமேல் தே லிவ்டு லாங் ஆஃப்டர் டுகெதர் முடிச்சிருவோம். போர்டே போட்டு முடிச்சிருவா பாருங்க, அவ்வளவுதான் அங்கே தெரியும். அதனால இங்கே அதை போல தான் இங்கே இப்போ. திஸ் இஸ் லைக் ஓவர்சீஸ். யூ கேன் சேஞ்ச் எனி டே யூ வாண்ட். திஸ் இஸ் அன்லைக் பாரத தேசா. Even if you have taken a birth as a result of punya, you may change. It's in fact a curse if you change so. It's better that taking a birth of Papa, then you change to be a good citizen. So, Kapuya Charanaha, Papa results in Papi birth and Punya results in a Punyashali birth. This chain can be broken. Not that this chain will continue. This chain can be broken by Jiva Swatantriya. If I decide and plead to Bhagavan to help me, he does. That is when we surrender and he tells, Aham tva sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami. The moment he tells, he never looks at whether you have taken Asura Janma or Rakshasa Janma. He only takes note that you have surrendered. If you surrender, I clean you of all your papam. I redeem. Let it be a Manushya papam or an Asura papam or a Deva papam or a Rakshasa papam. It doesn't matter at all. This floor is dirty. I have to clean with water. Will the water first question? Please define the amount of dirt. Only then I will clean. Then it's not water at all. அது கேட்கவே முடியாது. வாட்டர் எடுத்துன்னு வந்து அடிக்கிறச்சு, whatever may be the amount of dirt, water's job is to clean. Probably you will have to apply force to clean that dirt. If it's more, more force. If it's less, lesser force. Even up to Bhagavan, whatever may be the dirt or our papa, he cleans it. He never questions whether you are a Asura, Vibhishana, Prahlada, or whoever it is. So, we can redeem, although we took a chain of papa, Piravi. Whichever birth, Deva, Asura, etc., Atma has to return to a human birth once the prarabdha is spent. I have already explained to you about this. He has to return. Kshine punnye martyalokam vishanti. Kshine punnye. On spending that particular prarabdha karma, punnye kshine, martyalokam vishanti. One returns to human world. I have to return. Swami, Swargalokam is not permanent? Not. Narakalokam? Not at all. Chandralokam? Not. Vaikuntham? Yes. Bhulokam? In a way this is permanent because I have been taking births and births here. Narakam better. Swargam much better. The Bhumi better illa. Yena angallam pona oru birthra thirumbi vandurum. You go to Swarga, you return promptly. Go to Naraka, you return. But here, we don't even know that we are taking cycles and cycles again and again. I am going in round and round, I don't know. அதனால தான் இந்த பூலோகத்தில் ரொம்ப ஜாக்கிரதையாக இருக்கணும். இது நம்மளை மயக்கி விட்டுடும். மயக்கம்னு சொல்கிறோம் பாருங்க. அந்த மயக்கம் தான் இந்த பூமண்டலத்துக்கு பிரகிருதிக்கே இருக்கிற பெருமை. So it is birth as Deva or Asura, Kshine Punyam Artyalokam Vishanti, a person reached Swargaloka. He was enjoying good music, good dance, good drama, everything was fine. But I saw one day, one fine morning, someone was being pushed like a somersaulting person. He was being pushed down back to earth. I was worried. My concern was, will I also be pushed? Now that he is being pushed, I went to Rambha Tilottama. I inquired them in a very, very low voice. I asked, why are you pushing him? Because he has exhausted his prarabdha karma. He has gone, he has spent it. Now his days are over, so you are pushing him. Then I asked him, will you also push me down? Not today, 4 days later. We have already fixed the date for you. Probably not today because you still have leftover punyas with you. Once you exhaust those two, அது ஒண்ணு இல்ல, இன்னும் 2 சக்கரபங்கள் தான் பாக்கி இருக்கு. கொடுத்துட்டோம்னா முடிச்சிருவோம். திருப்பி அனுப்பிச்சிருவோம் இல்லையோ? அப்போல இருந்து I cannot enjoy the rest of those 4 days even. ஒண்ணு மட்டும் உங்களுக்கு முடிய போறதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அனுபவிக்க சொல்லுங்க. அதான் ஹெல்ப். அது சொர்க்கமாவே இருக்காது. இப்போ இதை விட பெசாம இருந்திருந்தா தான் தேவையில்லை. அது நாளன்னி வரைக்கும் உங்களுக்கு இதை கொடுத்து வச்சிருக்கேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் சாமி இன்னைக்கே வச்சுக்க, எனக்கு வேண்டாம். ஏன்னா அது இருந்து ஒண்ணுதான், இல்லாதே ஒண்ணுதானோ இல்லையோ. க்ஷீணே புண்ணிய மர்த்தியலோகம் விஷந்தி தர்மேண பாபம் அபனுததி. Now, having said that, you have so much of karma, how do I mitigate it? How can I reduce the effect of karma? Dharmena papam apanudati. Even in this life, you are told that this is the past karma that is haunting you. You are suffering because of this karma. Can I do something or not? That is the most important question here. We have difficulties, sufferings in our family, health issues, or even matrimonial issues, whatever it is. How do I reduce the effect of bad karma? You can. It's not that you have to suffer bad karma. In a way, it's true that you have to suffer. But you can certainly mitigate. You cannot remove, but you can certainly reduce. Reduce by what? Dharmena papam apanudati. Dharma is punya karya. You do punya karya specified in the Shastra. Prayaschitta karma as specified in the Shastras. Then you can reduce the effect of this prarabdha karma. You can reduce. Enjoy or suffer. Once prarabdha karma is spent, dharmena, prayaschitta dharmena, papam apanudati. You can reduce the bad effect of papa. The purpose of human life is twofold. Now that we have said all this, I've just defined them now. I put them in 2-3 points. Enjoy or suffer results of karma. We take birth to enjoy or suffer the results of karma. These are inevitable. Now you see the nature of each one of them now. They are inevitable but can be mitigated. I can mitigate through prayaschitta karma. Second, earn more karma. As a human being, I can do that. I have taken birth to enjoy the results of karma. They are inevitable, but if I want, I can mitigate. Second job which I do is, I earn more. I go hurt someone now. Swami, I came as a result of karma. Now, should I not realize it and keep shut? Should I not keep? I don't do that. வந்த இடத்துல பெசாம இருந்தா கூட தேவையில்லை. வந்த இடத்துல இன்னும் சேர்த்துட்டே இருக்க முடியல. இப்போ அதுதான் ரொம்ப தப்பா போச்சு. அது இப்போ இங்கே வரோம், வந்தா பண்ணோம் பார்த்தோம் போனோம்னா சரி, வந்த இடத்துல ஏதாவது தப்பு பண்ணிட்டு போனோம்னு வச்சுக்கோ, அப்போ அதையும் சேர்த்து தூக்கின்னு போனோமோ இல்லையோ, அது ரெண்டாவது வேலை. இப்போ ஐ earn more karma, inevitable, because I have to do something to live. I can't live like a dumb. I can't live with an inanimate thing. I have to do something. When I do something, then immediately I attach the tag of papa or punya to it. If I do something, if it's punya, fine. But it may turn out to be papa even if I am ignorant. If I am ignorant of Shastra, then whatever I do may turn out to be papa karma, inevitable, but still cannot be avoided. We have to do certain things at least which cannot be avoided. Thirdly, get rid of karma. This is the third job which you can do here. 1. Enjoy the results of past karma. 2. Earn further fresh karmas. 3. Redeem the karmas. You can even remove the karmas. To do what? By bhakti yoga or sharanagati. If you practice bhakti or sharanagati in this janma, after all, for almost 1 hour 50 minutes I have not opened my mouth about these two important aspects. கர்மானே சொல்லிட்டேனே தவிர இந்த கர்மா தொலைகிறதுக்கு வழி என்னன்னால் ஒன்று சரணாகதி இல்லை பக்தி. இந்த 3 தான் இப்போ பண்ண முடியும். தேர்ட், பக்தி ஆர் சரணாகதி. செகண்ட், earn more karma. First, enjoy the results of past karma. These are all our vocations in this earth. இதுக்கு தான் நம்ம வந்திருக்கோம். இதை விட்டுட்டு ஸ்கூலிங், காலேஜ், எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட், மேரேஜ், children, what not, society, socializing, we talk about everything other than these three now. இதுதான் நம்ம பண்ணியிருக்க வேண்டியது. இதைத்தான் நம்ம பண்ணி கொண்டும் இருக்கிறோம். அப்போ get rid of karma can be achieved by practicing karma yoga or bhakti yoga. These 3 are our jobs. Logically, as trees, animals and up to age of 12 in human birth, karmas are not counted. Please note, even in a human birth, till the age of 12, none of my actions, they don't get counted. Similarly to a tree, to an animal, they too don't get counted. அப்போனா காத்துன்னு இருக்கணுப்போ, இல்லைன்னா 12 வயசு இது ஆச்சுன்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. எங்கே பார்த்தாலும் எப்போ சர்டிஃபிகேட் கேட்டாலும் 12 காட்டிட்டு இருக்கணும். அது யாரை போய் ஏமாத்துறது? இப்போ அப்போ 12 வயசு வரைக்கும் வேணா ஆகாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கலாம். So human life is very relevant. Again, it proves the relevance of human life in the process of liberation. Now this step, the 4th page, is very, very important. It's a very simple slide. But just you will have to think, reflect on this side. That's it. The progressive steps in redemption. Now that we have taken a human birth, what do we do? What is the process of redeeming it? I would not like to take birth again. Assume for a moment that I have realized the whole problem is known to me now, Swami. I would not like to get into this anymore. Now tell me the way to realize. What should I do? How do I get liberated? There are 2 phases of liberation. Phase 1 is almost involuntary. Phase 2 is voluntary. Or probably I have got it wrongly. Phase 1 happens once you step into it. It happens. You may not realize much of the things that are happening. But in phase 2, you will know every part of it that's happening. You will know every step. If you falter, then you have trouble. But in phase 1, you keep your step in the first staircase. In the first step of that fleet of steps, you will certainly reach the last. இது எப்படின்னா, திருப்பதியில் பெருமாளை சேவைக்கு போகிறச்ச முதல் கூண்டுக்குள்ளே போகிற மாதிரி போய் நின்றுட்டில்னா வெளியிலே வர முடியாது இல்லையா? அடுத்தது நேராக வைகுண்ட வாசல் உள்ளே இறங்கணும், மகாத்வாரம் போய் ஜெய விஜயாள் துவாரம், பங்காரு வாக்கிலி தாண்டியாச்சு, பெருமாள் நின்னாச்சு, ஜரகண்டி சத்தம் கேட்டே இருந்து சேவிச்சாச்சு, வெளியில் வாங்கியாச்சு, லட்டை வாங்கியாச்சு, வந்தாச்சு. நடுவில் என்னால் உள்ளே போனவர் தான் போயிட்டா கடைசி வரைக்கும் சேவிச்சு தானே வெளியில் வந்தாகணும். அதே மாதிரி தான் இந்த phase 1. இப்போ phase 1 is, now why do I get redemption? The cause, the whole thing rests on one beautiful factor. The thing that Bhagavan ever wishes good, that all jivatmas must reach moksha. This is a good wish. Ishwarasya sauhardam. You will have to begin there. If that is not available, no jivatma would reach Vaikuntha. He constantly thinks that everyone is my property. He should reach me, he should reach me, he should reach me. Since the Sarvajna Bhagavan, Satya Sankalpa Bhagavan is ever thinking that I should reach, all my efforts of not reaching get nullified. That is why I reach Paramadam. So the first step is Ishwarasya sauhardam. Suhrit, good-hearted, large-hearted. He always thinks that Now, let my son, let my daughter, let them redeem and come. Why not he come and surrender to me? Let him also pose to surrender, not real surrender even. Let him at least pose to me. I am willing to give Ishvara Sacha Sauhardam. Then he goes through a highly technical process. He doesn't tell us what's happening, but he goes through the process for himself. He knows what's happening. He wantedly credits. This is an unknown credit, incidental past credits. It's not an earned past credit. It's an unearned incidental credit. I would have done something unknowingly good. I don't know about that. I don't have any account of that unknown good. Bhagavan has that account. Pudalokacharya சொல்றார், நன்மையன்னு பெயரிடலாவதொரு தீமையாவது செய்து. You could have done something wrong, but it can be named as a good. அவ்வளவுதான். அது குட்டே இல்லை, அது ராங். ஆனா அந்த ராங்க குட்னு பேர் வைக்கலாமா? யாரோ தான் மாட்டை அடிக்கிறதுக்காக போனா அடிக்கூடாது, பசு அடிக்கூடாது. கோவிலுக்குள்ள மாடு ஓடித்து, மாடு பிரதட்சணம் வந்தது, இவன் அடிக்கிறதுக்கு பிரதட்சணமா வந்தான், என் கோவில பிரதட்சணம் பண்ணேன்னு பெருமாள் கணக்கு எழுதிட்டார். இதுதான் நன்மைன்னு பெயர் வைக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு தீமை. பண்ணது தப்பு. He should not have hurt that cow. He intended to hurt that cow. The cow circumambulated the temple and he followed the cow to hurt that cow. அதுக்கு he got a punyam. இதுக்கு தான் பேர் இப்போ எதிர்ச்சா சுக்ருதம். எதிர்ச்சா, unknown. I do not know about that. எதிர்ச்சா சுக்ருதம். It's an incidental past credit. Then the third is Vishnu Kataksham. Bhagavan was waiting for an opportunity. Now that you have a credit, I am here to glance. இவர் கட்டாட்சத்துக்கு காரணம் காத்துருந்தார். இப்போ பகவான் கட்டாட்சிக்க புண்ணியம் இருக்கிறவாளெல்லாம் கட்டாட்சிப்பேன்னார். பக்கத்தில் இருக்கிற தாயார் பார்த்து, நீங்க சொல்லச்சேவே தெரியுது எதுக்கு சொல்றேன்னு. இப்போ யாருக்கு ஒத்துங்கிட்டே இல்லை, யாரை கட்டாட்சிக்கு பாரு வரும் பாரு. என்னமா வரும்னா அவருக்கு தெரிஞ்சு வரும், எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு வராது. அவருக்கு தெரிஞ்சு நான் இந்த தப்புன்னு பண்றாப்புல ஒரு நன்மை கிடைச்சதோ இல்லையோ, என் தலையில ஒரு புண்ணியத்தை எழுதிட்டு, தேவி பாத்தியா அவங்ககிட்ட புண்ணியம் இருக்கு, அதுக்காக நான் இப்ப கட்டாட்சிக்கு போறேன். எனக்கு புரியவே இல்லை, இவர் கட்டாட்சி எங்கேருந்து வந்தது எனக்கு? இப்போ நான் ஒண்ணுமே பண்ணலைன்னால் ஏதோ எதிர்ச்சா சுகிருத்தம் இருக்கோ இல்லையோ. He wantedly credits that, but at least to that I should have done something. அட இது நான் மாட்டை அடிக்க போறச்சே, இது இப்படி ஓடித்துன்னு நான் அப்பிரதட்சணமா போய் அடிக்காது இருந்தேனோ இல்லையோ, இருந்தா அதுவும் கிடைச்சிருக்காது. இப்போ மாடு பிரதட்சணமா போனா நானும் பிரதட்சணமா போனோம். அது ஏதானு எதிர்ச்சா சுகிருத்தம் பெருமாள் கிரெடிட் பண்ணாலும் பண்ணிடுவார். வாண்டாம் சுவாமி, நம்ம அப்பிரதட்சணமா போய் மாட்டை அடிப்போம், இந்த மட்டும் போகாது இருந்தானோ இல்லையோ, அந்த வரைக்கும் சந்தோஷப்பட்டுக்க வேண்டியதான். ஸோ தேர்ட், விஷ்ணு கட்டாட்சம், the evergreen glances of Sriman Narayana, Vishnu Kataksham. Then fourth, once you receive that, then you get into a no-hate policy. Till such time, dvesham, dvesham, dvesham. You thought that he is none to me. You are only hating him. Now that you receive his cool glances, you just change that policy to a no-hate policy. I don't go near him, but I don't hate him. Pala pera kedunga, vana varamatan. Kadavul unda, undu swami. அவனு ஏத்திஸ்ட்லாம் இல்லை, ஆனால் கோவிலுக்கெல்லாம் கூப்பிட்டாதீங்க. திஸ் இஸ் நோ ஹேட் பாலிசி. இதுக்கு தான் முதல்ல வருவோம். ஸோ அவன் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிட்டாரோ இல்லையோ. விஷ்ணு கட்டாட்சம், அத்வேஷம், தென் டைம் பாசஸ், ஆபிமுக்கியம். தட் இஸ் when he is drawn to God and he starts to love God. Sanatana Dharma will never say Astika as God fearing. It will only say as God loving. We don't fear God. ராமானுஜர் எழுதிட்டு போனார், பிரீத்தியால் ஆராதனம் பண்ணு, பீத்தியால் ஆராதனம் பண்ணாதே. பீத்தி இஸ் ஃபியர், பிரீத்தி இஸ் லவ். லவ்னால தான் ஆராதனை பண்ணமே தவிர நமக்கு என்ன பயம் வச்சிருக்கு? இப்போ நம்ம அப்பா பார்த்து பயப்படுவோமா, நம்ம அம்மா பார்த்து பயப்பட போறோமா? ஸோ அத்வேஷம், ஆபிமுக்கியம். ஒன்ஸ் யூ ட்ரா க்ளோஸ் டு ஈஸ்வரா நாராயணா, then he has a beautiful way for us. He never accepts us directly. Immediately he directs us. Here is a sadhu samagama. Why don't you go and join them? When I go there, then I realized all my past folly. என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணியிருக்கேன் அப்போ தெரியும், என்ன பண்ணணும்னு அப்போ சொல்லுவார். இவர் நாளையே ரொம்ப வீணாக்கிவிட்டேப்பா, எவ்வளவு அனுபவம்லாம் ஒரு காத்துட்டு இருக்கு அப்படின்னு those sadhus will tell me. So in the company of sadhu, I mend my ways. In the company of asadhus, I further deteriorate. Let me not be in the company of asadhu. Samsara vishavrikshasya dve phalehi amrutopame kadachit keshave bhakti tat bhaktairva samagama. Ramanuja says this samsara is a big poisonous tree. There are only two nectarine fruits in this tree. Samsara vishavrikshasya dve phalehi amrutopame. One, keshava bhakti. Two, tat bhakta bhakti. One fruit is keshava bhakti, other fruit is bhakta bhakti. Now if you have bhakta bhakti fruit, prefer that If you don't have Bhakta Bhakti fruit, then settle for Keshav Bhakti. I'm just repeating the words of Ramanuja. Our Sholache Bhagavat Bhakti Edutuko, Illena Bhagavata Bhakti Ponu Sholale. Prefer Bhagavata Bhakti. If you don't get it, Pona Pordu settle for Bhagavad Bhakti. Ena Perumal Tanana Pona Kari Nadak material. Bhakta Taranda, Tatti, Kotti, Kutti, Yadayan Monu Kundru. Adana our Sadhu Samagamam, then sadhus lead me to an acharya. When I reach an acharya, he preaches me. He tells me, here is Rahasyatraya. Here is the Swarupa of Jivatma. You are an absolute servant of Paramatma. You have to practice Sheshatva. Now come and serve him. Now you are here to eternally enjoy with Paramatma. Whereas you are suffering in this material world. Why? Then I told him, yes, I understand all these things, but unfortunately I don't know how to redeem. Don't worry. Bhagavan has appointed me to help you redeem your papas. நான் தோர்க்கே நான் கொடுக்கிறே ராமானுஜர் இருக்கார் வா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அழைச்சின்னு போறாளோ இல்லையோ ஆச்சாரிய பிராப்தி. So we receive all the preachings. These preaching they remind us the nature of Atman. Atma Swarupam is absolute servitude. Atma Swarupam is dependence. Atma Swarupam is to perform service to my owner, my master. And the goal of birth, I took birth for what? To redeem my karma and reach and get liberated. Whereas I do the other two jobs. There are totally three things that we do. We earn more karma, stop. We enjoy the results of karma, mitigate. Practice Sharanagati or Bhakti Yoga, yes. So if you keep doing only this and stop the other two, that is the way we get liberated. Ada pandrathu tha thirumba inge irukum. Redemption, realize that I have to redeem. Then also realize I stand a very good chance of release, of liberation. யார் சொல்லி கொடுப்பா? ஆச்சாரியன் தான் இதை சொல்லுவார். அவர் சொன்னா நம்பிக்கை வருது. With this, the first phase is over. And the second phase is very enjoyable. I don't know much of the things happening in the phase 1 because it all started with Ishvara Sauhardam, not under my control. Yadricha Sukritam, not under my control. Vishnu Kataksham, not under my control. The first 3 steps are not under my control at all. What did I do? I was just waiting. I realized Jnana is very much under my control because Bhagavan has been doing this forever. It should have fructified even earlier. It didn't happen. It's bearing fruit only now because I realized. So once I realize, then all these start happening now. Not that Bhagavan cannot do without my realization, but he will not do without my realization. He is waiting for me to realize and plead to him. The moment I do, Ishvarasya cha sauhardam yadricha sukritam Vishnu kataksham advesham abhimukyam sadhu samagamam acharya prapti bhagavat prapti, everything would follow. Now go to phase 2. I am now realized. My acharya told me, you will have to surrender. Unless you perform Sharanagati, how do you expect Bhagavan to redeem your papa? Then I surrender. Surrender and do what? Now I am confirmed, assured by Paramatma that, don't worry, aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will redeem you of all your papas. Then I have no job now. He has taken up the responsibility. What do I do? Rest of the life, kainkaryam. As I have realized, I am an absolute servant to Paramatma and he has owned my responsibility on his glorious head. What else do I do? I have to only serve him, kainkaryam and gunanubhavam. Think about his glorious gunas, his divine attributes. Enjoy life. Enjoy life till I am here. Not expect another life. Enjoy this life. But since Bhagavan has taken up to redeem my karma, of course I am not going to be born again. There may be some obstacles, some starting trouble, some in between trouble, some ending trouble even. All these are possible only in human birth. Please note that point. None is possible in any other birth. All these are possible only in it with some exceptions. Exceptions are Ghantakarnan, Jatayu and some people like them. They were granted moksham. Don't ask me how did Jatayu reach moksham? Exception. Exception done by whom? By Sarveshwara. Why don't we question? It's an unquestionable exception. We can't question him. Perumal Jatayukku moksham koduthaar. Adennama kodupar அப்படின்னு சத்தம் போட போனோம்னா அவர் என்ன தெரியுமா கேள்வி கேட்பார்? உனக்கே கொடுத்தேனேன்னு வரும். அதுக்கு எங்க பதில் வச்சிருக்கோம்? இப்போ ஒண்ணுமில்லாத உனக்கே மோட்சம் கொடுக்குறேன், நீ ஜட்டாயுக்கு கொடுத்ததை பத்தி கேட்டு இருக்கேனால். அதனால ப்ளீஸ் நோட், வி ஆர் ஆல் ரீச்சிங் மோட்சம் ஆஸ் அன் எக்ஸெப்ஷன். ரூல் படி போனா நம்ம திரும்ப போறது இல்லை. எல்லாருமே எக்ஸப்ஷன் படி தான் இப்போ மோட்சம் போயிட்டு இருக்கோம். அது எப்படி சுவாமி எக்ஸப்ஷனே ரூல் ஆக்கிட்டு போட்டிருக்கேன்னா, நல்ல வேலை இந்த கேள்வியை கேட்கறதுக்கு சர்வேஸ்வரன்ட்ட கேட்கறதுக்கு தைரியம் இல்லை யாருக்கும். அது என்ன சுதந்திரம் இல்லையா? இந்த சுவாதந்திரம்ங்கிற கார்டை வச்சுன்னு அவர் ஒத்தரையும் கேள்வி கேட்க விடாது பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கார். இல்ல வசிஷ்டர் 1000 வருஷம் தபஸ் பண்ணி மோட்சம் போவார், நான் ஒண்ணுமே இல்லாத மோட்சம் போடுவேனா? போயிட்டு இருக்கேனே, ஆனா அந்த போனேன்னு கேட்க முடியலையே. வசிஷ்டாச்சாரியர் என்னை பிடிச்சு பெருமாள் மோட்சத்துக்கு அழைச்சின்னு போறச்சே என்ன ஆகும்? கியூ நின்று இருக்கும், வைகுண்டேசி பெருமாள் சேவிக்கணும், நீண்ட கியூ 2000 பேர் நின்று இருக்கா. திடீர்னு எனக்கு ஈவோ தெரியும், போய் கேட்டேன், வாரம் நான் அழைச்சின்னு போனா சத்தம் என்ன தெரியுமா வரும் கியூலேருந்து? நாங்கள்லாம் பார்த்தா மனுஷர்களாக தெரியவில்லையா? நான் கொஞ்சம் நல்ல பாஷையில பேசியிருக்கேன் இப்போ, ஆனா இது எப்படி கேட்பா நீங்களே புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். இப்போ எங்களெல்லாம் பார்த்தா மனுஷர்களா தெரியலையான்னு சத்தம் வருமோ இல்லையோ? அப்போ இஃப் யூ கிராஸ் த கியூ, இஃப் யூ ஜம்ப் யுவர் கியூ, யூ ஹாவ் டு ரிசீவ் தட். அதே வசிஷ்டர், வாமதேவர், விஸ்வாமித்திரர், பரத்வாஜர், all are in a queue. They are all performing yoga and sadhana for thousands of years. Suddenly I go and surrender. Bhagavan catches hold of me. He takes me to moksham. What should be the response by, what should be the reaction by Vasishta? He should yell. He yells. You know how he yells? என்ன கருணை என்ன நிறுத்தி வச்சுட்டு அவனை கூட்டின்னு போனாரேங்கிறார். அதுதான் அவருடைய பேச்சு. போ பெருமானுக்கு இருக்கிற சுவாதந்திரமோ அவருடைய பவர் எப்படிப்பட்டதுனால், ஒருத்தரை கியூவை தாண்டி டர்ன் அவுட் ஆஃப் டர்ன் கூட்டிட்டு போறச்சே சத்தம் தானே போடணும் எல்லாரும். ஆனா அவ உடனே 100 ஸ்லோகம் எழுதுறா, அவுட் ஆஃப் டர்ன் கூட்டின்னு போறவரேன்னு கொண்டாடுறோம். இப்படி கூட இங்க யாரும் உண்டார்னா இதுதான் அவருக்கு இருக்கிற பவர். அண்ட் ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ, இதை நம்பித்தான் நம்ம மோட்சம் போயிட்டு இருக்கோம். இந்த சுவாதந்திரம் ஈஸ்வரன் இடத்துல இல்லை, நம்ம ஒருத்தரும் மோட்சத்துக்கு போகவே போறது இல்லை. ஆகவே ரியலைஸ் தி அன்சர்மவுண்டபிள் அப்டக்கிள். அதில் யாருக்கோ ஜட்டாயு கொடுத்தாரோ அது இதெல்லாம் கேட்டு பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை. தோஸ் ஆர் ஆல் எக்ஸெப்ஷன்ஸ். ஐ எம் ஒன்லி டாக்கிங் அபவுட் த ரூல். The rule always will have exception, and the right for that exception always rests with Paramatma alone. வேற ஆட்டி அதுக்கு ரூலுக்கு ஒன்றும் எக்ஸெப்ஷனுக்கு வழியும் இல்லை. The last slide now. Process in phase 2. What happens in phase 2? Realize that my obstacles are unsurmountable. I cannot win over. My karmas are so heavy in number. They are so treacherous and cruel that I cannot win them. I cannot redeem them. So I go and surrender. Here is a Malayatam karma nikkardu. They are unsurmountable. Now I am too concerned whether I will cross this ocean of samsara. Oh Krishna, can you help? Yes. Samsara sagarata na kadati vidren. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mashuchaha. He says, he soothes us. He immediately consoles us. Don't be concerned. I am willing to take up your responsibility. I am willing to deal. I was very, very doubtful. Oh Krishna, do you know how big is my papa? Krishna said, I don't care for that. However big they may be, my karunya is bigger than that. So will my karuna win or your papa would win? But Pirati Mahalakshmi says, oh Krishna, forever your karunyam should only win. And this jivatma's papam must never win. Adanal ennar, there's a tussle, a simple tussle. The moment Bhagavan decides that I am going to redeem, automatically they are removed. There is no need for Krishna to step in. There is no need for me to take up any action. Instead, the moment I surrender and he accepts, immediately the papas redeem on themselves. They don't expect Krishna to come. They are redeemed, surrender and plead for redemption of karma. Then the next step, he assures redemption, but expects a discipline in rest of our life. This is the vital point. He expects something because earlier I was not a realized soul. Now I am a realized soul. Should I show some difference in the way I live or not? Earlier I was not realized. I didn't know all these things. Now that I know, if I don't show any difference, then how can I reach moksha? After all, thinking is the power. Thought process, the power blessed by Paramatma to Jivatma. It is through that Jnana, Sharanagati, I am reaching moksha. So as a surrenderer, I should be drawn towards him and keep doing whatever he wants me to do. I should abstain from all that displeases him. I should do all that pleases him. Anukulyasya sankalpaha, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshishyati iti vishwasaha, goptrutta varanam tatha, karpanyam atma nikshebe shadvida sharanagatihi. As a surrenderer, I should do whatever pleases him. I should abstain from whatever displeases him. This is the discipline he expects in me. Enga break agum. Where does this chain break? At the end of that birth. I have been taken cycles of birth and death now. At the end of that birth, all karmas are wiped off. Which was the last one pending? Vartamana Arabdha Karma. Those Arabdha Karmas which I started enjoying in this Janma, only they were remaining. Bhagavan redeems them too. Vartamana Arabdha Karma also gets wiped off and we reach his lotus feet. So, now if you draw a line, if you draw a sequence of what things have happened, first was Jnana, realization of who I am. I am an absolute servant of Paramatma, a part body of Paramatma. Then that pushes me to Sharanagati. I have no other means. He is my only means. He is a Siddha Punya. So I surrender. Once I surrender, he accepts. He accepts and expects me to do service. So I then get on to Kaingirya. Once the responsibility of means is removed from me, I have nothing else. I have only serve. இப்போ நான் இங்கே சம்பாதிச்சுருக்கேன், எதுக்கு சம்பாதிக்கல? இப்போ இதை பண்ணணும், அதை பண்ணணும், அதை பண்ணணும், இந்த வீடு வாங்கினா அவன் அதெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு நான் தந்துடுறேன். தேவையில்லையா? இப்படி யார் சுவாமி கிடைப்பா? எப்படி என்ன பண்ணுவேன்னா எனக்கு வேலை செய்வான்னு. அது முடியாது சுவாமி. அங்கே தான் இப்போ ப்ராப்ளமே ஆரம்பிக்கும். யாரோ ஒருத்தர் உனக்கு வேண்டிய எல்லாத்தையும் நான் கொடுத்துட்றேன், நான் சொல்கிற கோவிலில் உட்காந்து கைங்கரியம் பண்ணுன்னா உடனே பண்ணுவோமா? நமக்கு வேண்டியது எல்லாத்தையும் கொடுத்துட்டார் அவர். அப்போ என்ன அர்த்தம்னா நாம் வேண்டியதுக்காக மட்டும் வேலை பார்க்கல, எதுக்காகவோ பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம்னு அர்த்தம். இப்போ உங்களுக்கு ஏதோ ஒரு வீடு வாங்கணுங்கிறதுக்காக சம்பாதிச்சுட்டு இருக்கீங்கன்னா அந்த வீடை நான் கொடுத்துட்றேன், வாங்கோ, நான் சொல்றது விதேசத்தில் கைங்கரியம் பண்ணுங்கன்னா வந்துருவோமா? வந்தா நாம உண்மையா இருக்கோம்னு அர்த்தம். வராமல் அது வீடுன்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் வாசல் வேணும் சுவாமி, வாசல்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் பொண்ணு பிறக்கணும் சுவாமி, பொண்ணுன்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் கல்யாணம். கவலைப்படாதீங்க, இதே பொண்ணு பிறக்கும், இதே கல்யாணம் பண்ணலாம், வாங்கோன்னா அது என்னமோ அதுக்கு மேல இருக்குன்னு தேடிட்டு வராம இருக்கும் பாருங்க, அதுதான் அன்ரியலைஸ்டு சோல்னு அர்த்தம். எப்ப அந்த ரியலைசேஷன் வந்து எப்ப பெருமாள் இதை கொடுக்குறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டாரோ நான் ஏன் கவலைப்படணும் இனிமே? இப்போ அப்ப எனக்கு கை கால் கொடுத்ததே கைங்கிறதுக்கு தான் என்ன புரிஞ்சுக்கிறான் பாருங்க. யோசிங்க, நான் ஏதோ குத்தலா சொல்றேன்னு நினைச்சுட வேண்டாம். மேல மேல சுத்தல்லையே போயிட்டோம்னா எத்தனை ஜென்மம் போறோம். அது ஒரு நாளாலும் நின்று தானே ஆகணும். என்ன ஆயிட போறது? ஆகாசம் எடுத்து பூமியில விழுந்துட போறதா? பூமியை தான் பொழந்து போயிட போறதா? சர்வேஸ்வரனை தாண்டி ஒன்னும் என்னைக்கு நடந்துடாது. நான் அவனுடைய சர்வெண்ட்னு தெரிஞ்சுனுட்டேன், அவனுக்கு கிங்கரங்கிறது புரிஞ்சு கொடுத்தனால் தட்ஸ் இட். அப்ப அந்த கால் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா தான் கால். அதுக்கப்புறம் மேல 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 சுத்திண்டே இருந்தோம்னால் நம்மளை நாமே ஏமாத்திக்கிறோம்னு அர்த்தம். அது ஏமாத்தம் புரிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் புரியாதவனுக்கு வித்தியாசமே இல்லையே. அப்ப பெருமாள் நினைப்பார், இது இத்தனை நாள் செலவழிச்சு இவ்வளவு தானா, கடைசியில் வரவே இல்லையே. நடுவில் 2 நாள் வந்துட்டு போறதுக்கு தான் இத்தனை பேசி நான் போல் இருக்கு. வேகமா திபதேசத்தை வந்து டிக் அடிச்சுட்டு திருக்கண்ணமுடியா எடுத்து, திருக்கண்ணமங்கை எடுத்து, திருக்கண்ணபுரம் எடுத்துன்னு திரும்பி போடுவோம் போல் இருக்கே. இப்போ நான் ஏதோ இவன் இருந்து எனக்கு பூத்தொடுத்து கொடுப்பான், எனக்கு கைகறி பண்ணுவான்னு பார்த்தானால் அப்ப என்ன அவர் நினைப்பார்னா, சர்வேஸ்வரன் நான். இவன் நினைக்கிற வேலை பார்க்கிற முதலாளி இருக்க போறதே 10 வருஷம். அதுக்கு மேல குபேரனை வச்சிருக்கேன், இந்திரனை வச்சிருக்கேன், சந்திரனை வச்சிருக்கேன், பிரம்மா வச்சிருக்கேன். பிரம்மாவே போனாலும் நான் இருக்க போறேன். இவ்வளவு உயர்ந்த டைரக்ட் பாஸ் எங்கிட்ட வான்னு கூப்பிட்டு இருக்கேன். அதை புரியாம இவன் ஏதோ ஒரு பாப்பர்கிட்ட வேலை பார்ப்பேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கானே நினைச்சுக்க மாட்டார் அவர். அந்த நினைவு வந்துட்டு நம்ம தான் முட்டாள், அவர் முட்டாள் இல்லை. இதை நம்ம சீட் பண்ணிக்கிறது நம்மள நாமே பண்ணிக்கிறோம். அப்ப அந்த நிலை தாண்டி எடுத்தனால் என்ன சந்தோஷப்படுவார் பெருமாள். இந்த ஒரு ஜீவாத்மா வரேன்னு சொல்லிட்டார். இஸ் சோ ஹாப்பி. த மொமெண்ட் இஸ் ஹாப்பி. அவர் அதை தெரிஞ்சுட்டார்னு உடனே immediately all my karmas flee away from me. They can't stand there. They don't have the guts to stand by the side of me. ஏன்னா அவர் எனக்கு பனிஷ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கறதா நினைச்சிட்டு தான் இது நடந்தது. அது இல்லையே நான் எடுத்து இல்லையோ தானே அத்தனை ஓடி போயிடும். ஞான சரணாகதி கைங்கர்யம். The more you perform papa nivritti, slowly they get removed and mokshanantam. Finally reach his lotus feet. Once in phase 2, any lost link can be continued in subsequent human births. Please note, Sharanagati பண்ணிட்டேன். I have performed unconditional surrender. Then on, somehow, I suddenly got an unnecessary wish. Why don't we visit Swarga once? சாம இருந்து மோட்சத்துக்கு தானே போயிருக்கணும். இவன் குறுக்க என்ன பண்ணிட்டான், அந்த பணக்காரரை பார்த்தேன், அது லைஃப் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கும் போல் இருக்கு. ஒரு தரம் பிறந்தா என்னன்னால், ப்ளீஸ் நோட், பகவான் இஸ் நாட் annoyed at all. He thinks, my son, he has already surrendered to me. Should I not grant him whatever he wishes? It doesn't matter. Let him go to Swarga. The same Bhagavan grants Swarga. You can't go to anybody else to get Swarga. Same Bhagavan who was just expecting that son to reach him in the next 5-10 years, suddenly you change your course, you ask him, oh Papa, can you not give me Swarga? He gives, and he puts you under safe custody. Here is a surrenderer, I have his account, let the account be live, let me not close his account or put him back to a Manushya Loka. Let him go to Swarga, complete all his wishes. He will learn more when he goes there. Bhagavan waits because pala perum vandu sharachaliki prisonuku porache dhaan pustham eludva theriyuma. அந்த மாதிரி சொர்க்கத்துக்கு போனா இவன் தானே நான் யாருன்னு தெரிஞ்சுன்னு வர போறான். போயிட்டு வரட்டும், அங்க என்னமோ ரொம்ப நல்லது இருக்கிறதா நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கா. அனுப்புறார், போறேன், போரும் பெத்தேன் முழைச்சேன்னு ஓடி வந்துட்டேன். திருப்பி வந்து, ஓ பகவான் சொல்ல மாட்டியா, நான் தான் ஏதோ தப்பா கேட்டுட்டேன்னா அனுப்பிச்சியன்னா சொன்னா நீ கேட்டுக்க மாட்டேன், அதனாலதான் உன்னை அனுப்பிச்சேன், போய் பட்டுட்டு வா, இனிமே போக மாட்டியோ இல்லையோ, போயிட்டே பட்டுட்டே வந்துட்டேன்னு ஏத்துக்கிறா. So once you are in phase 2, you can continue any missing link. Bhagavan gives you a conducive family to be born. He gives you birth in a conducive family to continue and complete the cycle. The cycle is complete only when you reach moksha. So he is magnanimous enough to continue your conducive cycle. Any lost link can be continued in subsequent human births. Bhagavan helps in conducive birth. Assumed we don't commit any papa. Knowing papa. Once we have surrendered, then stop. Abstain from papa, at least knowingly doing papa. Unknowingly சிலது நடக்கலாம். We don't know. அப்படி இருந்தா he doesn't take cognizance at all. In this phase, if we commit papa, or the cruel obstacle, the very deadly obstacle after surrender is only one. Rest all can be dispelled. The deadly obstacle is Vishayantara Pravanya. What our acharyas, they are scared of mentioning is Vishayantara Pravanyam. Once I am wedded to Bhagavan, if I look at enjoyment of any material pleasure, that's known as Vishayantara Pravanyam. He is my pleasure. He is my spiritual pleasure. And I have to enjoy his company only. Without that, if I am happy eating better, if I am happy sleeping better, if I am happy going to Swargaloka, to this Loka, taking another birth even, or enjoying material pleasure, whatever it is, they are all very big obstacles in the progressive path. அப்போ அவர் என்ன பண்ணுவார்? He never wipes off the Sharanagati done, but he delays the whole process. He waits. ஓஹோ, இவன் இப்படி போறானா, இவனுக்கு பழையபடி ருச்சி வரட்டும். Now the eligibility to reach moksham is nothing. We have already surrendered. The only eligibility is that I am wedded to him, that my pleasure is him. Other than him, I dislike everything else. If you are steadfast in that stand, then he thinks, here is a person who is always expecting me and he should reach me. Either ta ruchi ingro. Our earlier ruchi was different. Now this is Bhagavad Vishaya ruchi. If you are able to generate this prapya ruchi, the ruchi in reaching the destination, in enjoy eternal bliss with Paramatma, the more you develop it, the more you are, the closer you are to him. But if you get into Vishayantara Anubhava, material pleasure, then it's going to delay the whole process. It may be delayed by a birth, by a couple of births, by 4 births, for 40 births, but still the done Sharanagati is alive. Don't think that's wiped off. Sharanagati is alive, but it will not fructify. Although Sharanagati would be, it will be dormant. That has to erupt. That eruption will come only if you abstain from Vishayantara Pravanyam. So we commit or like material pleasure, then the process is delayed. Inadvertent papa is condoned. Bhagavan never notices that. If you do anything inadvertently, then he condones. You do something and even repent for it, he condones, he pardons that. If you don't repent, that is where you invite problem. And also, if you like material pleasure, not spiritual pleasure, then also you have trouble. So these are certain aspects which I wanted to share with you today. So this human birth is very, very important. It's vital because this is where we can decide, this is where we can perform Sharanagati, and from this is where we can reach moksham. This is a great birth. Let us put it to proper use. Thank you for attending today's session. If 9:25? No 5 minutes? Okay, right. அப்போ நாளைக்கு ஒன்று செய்வோம். 8:45 நிறுத்திடுறேன். நிறுத்திட்டு ஒரு 1/2 மணி நீங்கள் என்ன கொஸ்டின்ஸ் உண்டோ நாளை கேளுங்க. ஸ்ரீயக்காந்தாய கல்யாண தேன தேர்த்தினா ஸ்ரீ வெங்கட நிவாசாய ஸ்ரீனிவாசாய மங்களம். இது யாருக்கான வேணும்னா கொடுத்துருவோம்.